Welcome to the weekend live show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Taunton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave it closed, buddy, and then we're
You funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from. 508 is where I'm from.
What the hell was that?
Oh, it's fucking Giannetti.
You a friggin' idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid. It's homosexuals that love them. Good job, guys.
Nobody wants to see your dick pics, dude. Oh, can't show it. It's a Giannetti dick pic. NFL on the house, plug that.
Let's get this party started.
It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom. Bringing that noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separating from the boys. Chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we gon' die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this. So it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
It's go, 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 go time.
You're a bitch, bro. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, you pussy.
Yeah. Clean cold, boy. You be knocked out. KO. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang! What's up, Turtle Riders? How's everyone doing out there? Them Advantage boys. I'm gonna get it. Welcome, everyone, to the weekend live show. I'm your fearless host. They call me Uncle Turtleboy, or they used to call me Uncle Turtleboy. Nobody really calls me that anymore. Everyone calls me Doctor, which I actually really appreciate. So you can call me Doctor, because if Jill Biden's a doctor, then I'm definitely a doctor. That's also my Twitter handle. I am at Dr. Turtleboy. That's at DOCTOR Turtleboy. My Facebook account is Clarence Woods Emerson. You can also follow the Turtleboy page. I think it's at like 31,000 followers. I don't even know. It's a lot. It's cool. It's growing. It's going to keep growing. It's pretty great. We're on Instagram at Turtleboy_daily_news. Again, my real name's Aidan. But you can call me any of those things if you want. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp for the weekend live show and the Tuesday live show. However, we also do a lot of impromptu lives. So you're going to want to hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. Hit that notification bell because you're going to want to get warned or alerted when we do go live. And I have a feeling, man, it's just I see a lot of impromptus in our near future, man. There's a lot going on, especially in the last freaking 24 hours. Like, it's been nuts. It's been insane. Also, guys, we are on Rumble. I am posting the link to Rumble right there. YouTube is rather censorious. We often lose a lot of streams on here because, people just report like 3-year-old videos on here, and that's lame, but, it gets taken down. We usually we get like a 1-week suspension when that happens, and we'll be back. But it's just like it's whack. So Rumble is basically has everything YouTube has without the censorship. So if you could create a Rumble account for the weeks we get suspended, we actually had our biggest audience ever on Rumble during one stream. I see 514 people over there right now. So, including 7-pounders over there. Nice to see. So Turtle Cadets over there. Some of the regulars are over there, but we got a lot of people everywhere. The mindless mob is here. The mindless mob is here. That's great to see. Okay, mindless mob. If anybody in the mindless mob wants to donate to the cause, you can't do the super chat because we had the wrong opinions about medical freedom like 2 years ago. It turned out to be completely right about that because I never got it and I'm still alive. But yeah, I just wasn't a fan. So they said you couldn't like donate to us anymore with the super chats, which is great because those crooks take 40% anyway. It's highway robbery. So we built our own platform. It's called Turtle Chat. If you click at the link at the top, it should be pinned at the top of the comment section. There it is. That brings you to something called Turtle Chat. You can donate whatever amount of money you want, and I will read your donation. When you donate money, you get to write a message. I'll get that message in my email. I'll read that message out loud to the class. You can also cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and I will do the same. So, for instance, we already got a Turtle Chat here from DW. DW writes, Troll Homeo sends $25 and says, Troll Homeo, crusty panties, and jizz are all mentally unhealthy. Oh, you think so? I would argue that anybody who dedicates their entire life to stalking me or anybody in general like that, having that much of an obsession over somebody who you can just not listen to. You just can if you don't like the things they're saying, you can just not listen to them. Like, it's crazy. But for me, for whatever reason, they don't think that way. Like, Tucker Carlson interviewed Dave Portnoy the other day. You guys watch that interview? I thought it was pretty interesting. I watched it, and Tucker was like, "You're like the most. You have the most. You're like the most hated guy. You have the most people dedicated to following you." It's like, all due respect, Tucker, you haven't interviewed me yet. Like, I would argue that my trolls are more dedicated than I've never seen dedicated trolls that just follow Dave Portnoy around online. I think he's probably like too big for them to like do that to. But with me, it's like my trolls they're like a part of the family at this point. Like, they're not going anywhere, and they don't care how much they lose. Like, you would think with the unprecedented growth we've had in the last 4 months, it gets time to tap out. Like, I won. Like, yeah, not much you can do about it. But now they're going all in on Team Albert and McCabe, which is just, I'm here for it because I know how this story ends, and they'll have no credibility after this is left over, but it won't stop them at all. Like, they'll just continue on like none of this happened, and that's why I love them. They're my favorite. So, and I wish them the best. But it's kind of weird. Like, there's a lot of people I don't like. But I can't imagine following them, like dedicating my life to following them around and like sending emails to their friends and family's workplaces and, I don't know, sending t-shirts to their house and creating Turtleboy secrets accounts and like going through clips. Like, what? Like, who has the time? Who has the time? It's just, yikes. Might want to get a life, but do what you got to do. Anyway, that's DW's. And he says, if they put as much time into something positive, very good point, as they do towards obsessing over Turtleboy, they can make something of themselves. Instead, they will always be losers. Fuck them. You know what? That is so freaking accurate. A couple other turtle chats here. Tracy sends 10, says, hey, Tom, how does my hair look today? I don't know, but I'm sure it's lovely. Thank you. Semolina sends $20 and says, hi, Aidan. Nothing to say except your Twitter feed is keeping me very busy this week. Team Storm's fall was epic. Love the work you do. Thanks. Semolina is holding it down on the Twitter world. Her and Lounge Lizard are just like Team Karen Reed. They're just destroying the trolls. I don't even have to. They just do it for me. It's great. So, because it's just, we're not dealing with smart. There was one troll today. I forget the name, the fake name she used. I usually don't respond to trolls, but one troll was like, you block everyone. You don't hear any other opinions. If you think that somebody thinks Karen Reed's guilty, you don't even listen to him. And so I responded to the tweet to her and I said, that's not true. I would formally invite you on the live show tonight. you can come up here on the live, like fuck Twitter. You have 3 followers. No one's seeing you. Come up on the live show where we will have a large audience of thousands of people, and you can make the case for why you think Karen Reed's guilty. And it was quickly, no, you'll do this and you'll be mean to me and you'll call me a cunt. And that's what they do. You just got to call them out and be like, okay, I'm not going to censor you. Come on up. And they never do. And they never do. And that's how you can tell these people are not serious. These people are not serious. But I mean, I do block some people. I prefer the mute because I don't want to give them the satisfaction. But sometimes it's just like, yeah, fuck. I know that me blocking them takes 2 seconds, and them creating a new account takes like, you got to make an email and, 5 to 10 minutes. So I win that one. I win that one. So that's why I do that. But anyway, I'll debate anyone, anywhere, anytime on this topic. And nobody ever takes me up on it because, well, actually, Boundless Millennial did. If you go back and watch that TikTok we did, and he was the example of why you don't do that, because he just got smoked. It did not go well for Mr. Boundless Millennial there. But okay, I think I have another turtle chat here from Pez Pets, sends $25, says shout out to Pez Pets. If anyone wants a Where's Chloe bandana, hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. Pez Pets, folks. Pez Pets. MJ sends $25, says, I have a true appreciation and love for your work, Unc. Bang, bang. Thank you, MJ. I appreciate that. Sean sends $25, says, you're a loser. Where's your award? Glug, glug, glug. I'm trying to upload these like Jill Daniels sound clips so I can just use them whenever I want, like this one.
Go fuck yourself, you fucking homo.
This
you
one.
call yourself a turtle. A turtle. Do you know what that means? A turtle. Guess what?
This one. Off.
Didn't even ever, no, shut the fuck up.
Whoa, we're getting a little off track.
In your life, shut the fuck up.
Oh, this. I got this one.
Turtle boy, you fucking turtle rider. Go get a new name, okay? You fucking turtle juice.
You fucking. Also,
guess what? Shut the fuck up. You fucking loser.
I can't even talk. Bad connection?
No, not bad connection, you fucking douchebag. Guess what? You're not a journalist.
What crime did I commit? What crime did I commit? Why do you guys all say that?
Okay, no, you don't, because you're a fucking loser. Oh, I went to Truro because somebody gave me a thing. Oh, I went to Truro because somebody gave me a thing.
What crime did I commit? What crime did I commit? Why do you guys all say that? I like it, it's not a high bar.
Do you know how to shut up? Do you know how to shut up? Have you ever shut up in your life?
I feel like you've done most of the talking, in fairness. Okay, sorry. So, whoa, take it easy. Easy, pussycat. Easy, pussycat. We got to get shirts. We have so many shirts we need to make. A couple more turtle chats got to read out here. Eileen sends $64. That's an original number. She says, how about every turtle rider donate their age? I'm 64. Well, thank you very much, Eileen. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Kelly sends $25. She says the defense should start asking for passports to be surrendered. Ooh, that's actually a good idea. Do any of these people have passports? I don't think you need to have a passport to leave Canton, which none of these people ever do, except when they do the Bridgewater shuffle. Sometimes they all go to Bridgewater State for 6 or 7 years, and then they come back. But that's about it. That's about it. But not a bad idea though. Dawn and she says Year of the Turtle too. So thank you very much, Kelly. Dawn sends $20 and says $10 for each of Morrissey's monster eyebrows. I can't believe one is so much higher than the other though. It's so bizarre. Also on the Cash App. Got a couple Cash Apps again on Cash App, $ Uncle Turtleboy. We have here, let's see, Jane sends $10 and says, let's make life miserable for Morrissey. I want to go to his house. I agree with that one. Because he can't hide. I mean, that fat fuck thinks he can hide from me. I took that personally. Like Michael Morrissey, you cannot hide from me. You're way too big. You're the kid who couldn't hide behind a tree playing hide and seek as a kid. I'm going to find your fat ass. I'm going to find you. And I have some questions, sir. I have some questions. David Berry sends $20 and says, can't wait for justice. Me too. Oh, can't wait. Karen is innocent. You got that right, David. Deanna sends $10 and says, Team Turtleboy and Rocco's. It's about Karen. Yes, and I'm going to get to that in one moment. If anyone else wants to donate, link is at the top, or you can cash at me $, Uncle Turtleboy. Why don't I start with that? I do want to address this, and I don't want to spend much time on it, but a lot of people were asking about it. So, elephant in the room, we do need to address what happened here. So, give me one moment to pull this up. Okay. So, as you may know, there's a Facebook group that I've promoted many times on this program called the Justice for I don't even know the order, John O'Keefe and Karen Reed page, like mass corruption. It was a cool page. It had like 23,000 followers. And like I said, I promoted it because I thought it was a good place for discussion or whatever. But I fucking knew this would happen. Like, this happens every time. You let a bunch of, I don't want to sound massage therapist here, all misogynist, a bunch of women running a page is it turns into a nightmare. And that's what happened here. Okay. It always goes to their heads. Internal fights start happening, and it's like they lose sight of what is supposed to happen. They ruined a very good page. I like that page. I promoted it. I will never promote it again. I will never post on that page again. I will never comment on that page again. I would encourage the admins on that page actually to shut it down, because we started a new page, and I want to explain why. So here's the background with this. So that on that page was apparently, I didn't know who was adminning. It just appeared one day, and a lot of people were talking about it, and so I joined it. And it looked like Turtle Riders, okay? But apparently there's like a head admin who I've never spoken to before. Her name is Blanca, and I don't know if this woman even followed Turtleboy before the Karen Reed story. And I'm like, and I thought she was okay because the page was good. She's the one that like drove around 5 times with her kids in the car at the July 25th protest and kept honking. And so I'm like, okay, I guess she supports Karen Reed. But I feel like a lot of people who are involved in this are just in it for they just want to be part of something. I don't think they really give a shit. I really don't. And that became very evident to me. So I'm getting messages left and right from people all the time. Turtle Riders, like, I'm blocked from the group. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking busy. I'm like trying to write these stories. I don't have time to babysit this stupid group. I don't. And so I'd message an admin and be like, can you let this person back in? They're a Turtle Rider. Well, they said this. They said something that was wrong one time. Well, who gives a fuck? What are we doing? Why are we kicking people out of a fucking group? We want people to join. And then I'm hearing that, like, we need to protect the safety of the people in the group because Lizzie Proctor is going to get in with fake accounts. I got news for you. Lizzie Proctor's getting in no matter what. No matter what. You are not going to stop her from getting in. If you are that naive in 2023 to believe that there is anything like a Facebook group that is somehow private that you can keep people out of with thousands of people, you should not be allowed to drive. Like, you have no understanding of how the internet works. If you believe that, you have to assume there is no privacy on there. Okay. None. So like, it's like, we're kicking people. So like it's like, okay, I'm putting out fires here and there. I don't have time for this. I'm trying to do award-winning journalism here. Don't have time for this. The goal of these groups should be to discuss the case, raise awareness, and raise money. Okay. And money is the most important part, I would say, because without money, Karen Reed's fucked. You understand that? How expensive this shit is? The evidentiary hearing. I've heard rumblings that canceled evidentiary hearing cost her at least $50,000. 50 grand wasted. Just for nothing. That is the strategy of the Commonwealth, because she had to fly in. She has to fly these people in on her dime, her attorneys, her experts, they don't work for free. They charge hundreds of dollars an hour. So this is very expensive. And so that should be our number one goal. Now there's this couple called the Roccos. They're turtle riders, and they started doing these fundraisers. You might have seen them. And, you know, they do a lot of these 60-40 raffles and giveaways and shit like that. And it's altruistic. Like it's 100%, right? They are giving that money to the Kearney Defense Fund. And they have raised $28,000. $28,000. That's fucking insane. $28,000. So that's great. I'm sure Karen Reed is extremely happy about that, you know, coming in. Well, apparently the Facebook admins of the group disagreed. Okay. And I want to show you. So this is the post that really fucking set me off yesterday. So, okay, let me pull it up. And again, I'm not trying to like fucking call this woman out, but like, what the fuck? What are you doing? So it says, this platform is in support of Karen, her defense, and justice for John. I will make changes as I see fit. Oh, so it's not about them. It's about you. Oh, thank you for clearing that up. I didn't create this group to fundraise. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gives a fuck about you. Nobody. I don't know why you're even talking about yourself in this. I don't know who you are. And somehow you have made this group about you. And then she says, I didn't create this group to fundraise, even though I have welcomed it. Oh, so she allowed it. She has welcomed it. If you have a platform and want to use it strictly for fundraising, that's great. But it was never my intention to do it. Well, let me be very clear. The only reason you have any platform at all, any following at all, is because of me and Karen Reed. That's it. Because Karen Reed is being wrongly accused of murder, and I'm writing about it and exposing it. Without the two of us, you don't have fucking shit. Your group does not exist. I urge, you have 23,000 people on that page because I tell people to go there. That's why you have 23,000 people. It's all. Without us, you have fucking nothing. Like, let's make that very fucking clear. These Facebook admins, it's like a disease. They feel so fucking special because they run a freaking Facebook group with a lot of followers. You didn't raise a fucking dime. And to say that, I did not create this group to fundraise, then what the fuck what'd you create it for? Like, I'm sorry. Fundraisers have to be allowed there, especially if they check out and all this other stuff. So stop. Like, I saw this and I'm like, you have to be fucking kidding me. You have to be kidding me. So then I'm like, okay, well, let me try to put this fire out because I dealt with this before and it was problematic. And so this is, here's another message I'm reading here. It's like, so the Roccos are making these fundraisers and they were told they couldn't do it. And then they ended up getting blocked. And I'm like, I don't have time for this drama. Like that. I felt bad because I was telling the Roccos for a while. I'm like, I don't want to get involved. I'm not here to put out fires. Deal with it yourself. But after a while, like when I see like, okay, now they are raising money and now you're hurting Karen Reed's defense fund. So now I have to step in if you're not letting them do that. And, here I'm reading a message. You have a platform. You can do it on your own. Let's see. Yeah. Like, look at this one. So it says, you have a platform. You can do it on your own. I'm tired of going back and forth with you. I'm tired of you all reporting to me to Karen and Turtleboy. What? I will continue to support her defense unless the money is going straight to her defense, which it was, or her Venmo, I will not allow it. I created this page for Johnny. There it is. I created. I. Not to fundraiser cash grab. Or cash grab? The money is going to Karen Reed's defense fund. There's no cash grab. What are you talking about? And so I can, and then not go back and forth with my members. They're her members. They're her members, guys. Like who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? You don't have members. You made a page that I promoted, and that's fucking it. And so, as far as I'm concerned, our relationship should work as follows, right? I tell you to do something, and then you just do it. That's it. It's really just that simple. So if I come to you, Facebook admin, and I say, you need to let the posts up, you need to allow the fundraisers up, then you let them up. You don't argue. That's it. That's fucking it. I do not have time for this shit. You just do it. This is not a freaking debate or a democracy. You just do it. I am not dealing with your ego. I do not have time for your bullshit. So then I made this post, right? So I messaged her and she doesn't respond. And so, granted, it was pretty late. And I'm like, I said, the purpose of this group is to help Karen Reed. The Rockers have raised 15. It was actually 28,000 for her legal defense fund, volunteered their time and paid out of pocket to do so. They have asked for nothing in return. I'm disgusted. They're now being told by a power-hungry admin that they cannot use this page to raise money. Newsflash, this is not about you or any member of this group. This is about Karen fucking Reed and John O'Keefe. Keep in mind, I interrupted like a story I was working on to deal with this shit. And again, like admins can kick people out and moderators can't. And they were doing like a shuffle. Like some people are admins. Sometimes depending on who's in a bad fucking mood, this person's a moderator. No. Enough of this shit. Enough. Like, and daddy had to step in. Daddy had to come in and be the adult and lay his foot down because the kids couldn't stop arguing. And so daddy had to come in and say, the party's over. We're doing it my way now, period. Open your fucking eyes and see the big picture. Moving forward, if changes are not immediately made to this group, then I will not use my platform to unfollow, mass report. I wouldn't go that far. I was mad when I said that. Don't actually mass report it. I really don't give a shit. Then I'll start a new group. But I did mean that. This is not up for debate, okay? And so then we messaged her, okay? And I said, because I'm transparent, and I'm like, I saw your post, and I'd like to speak to you about it. Sure thing, shoot, okay? I go, I'm furious about that message you posted, and it needs to stop, okay? Or I'm going to start my own and urge everyone to do the same. I don't have time to babysit like this. I'm trying to help save this woman's life and get justice for John. This isn't about anyone except them. I have been getting messages and taking again, like that. As soon as you hear that from me, that's it. That's it. You let them post. And that if you have a fucking problem with it, then don't be the admin. That's it. We're moving on. Okay. About the fundraisers and the posts and people selling stuff. Okay. I don't care if you've been getting messages. None of that matters to me at all. I don't know why you're telling me this. I don't even want to be involved this much. Okay. Then don't be the admin. I was dragged into it when the Rockers and Victoria got into it. I don't know what that means. I don't care. This is about Karen Reed. We're raising money for Karen Reed. I'm not debating. I'm trying to explain my position. Don't want to hear your position. That's it. That you're not understanding the relationship. I am not attention grabbing or hungry for power. Okay. I'm making an executive decision here. Okay. This group does not belong to you because that's what she said. Like, this is my group. No, it's not your group. I mean, you created it. Maybe that's the problem is when she said, this is my group. I'm like, well, that's the problem right there. Is that's how she views it. And moving forward, somebody this impulsive and power hungry, this page is too important. This page has the ability to raise a shitload of money for Karen Reed's legal defense fund. As this story grows and as more media networks pick it up, I'm going to encourage people to go to the group. I am not going to encourage them to go to a group that is run by somebody this impulsive who doesn't get the big picture. Not going to do it. And I said, this thing, I go, this group, the group does not belong to you. It belongs to everyone. Okay. I know you think it's yours, but it's not. And if you think it's that way, then please step down. Then she says, I don't like controlling people. What? You literally love it. You then stop controlling them. Like, it's really that simple. And they were taking down posts about like people posting signs in their yard. A free can't read, and they're like, it's redundant. Who gives a fuck? It's not your job to make a fucking page where it's like, oh, we can't have redundancy here. Who gives a shit? Stimulate conversation. Build morale. Every one of those people that posts a fucking yard sign in their yard, it's because they're excited about it. And it gets other people excited about it. And then everyone wants to get one. That's what we're fucking doing here. Who the fuck put you in charge of marketing? No one. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I go, and I'm like, I feel uncomfortable having, like, what? Like, you don't have contact. Like, that's it. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, I've never seen Karen Reed in that group, so I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, I started a new group, and I just want to clear up the confusion. It's called the same thing, Justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed official. All right. Now, if the other group wants to continue, that's their right. I'm not going to try to do anything to them. I don't give a shit. I will not participate. I'm blocked from it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And that tells you something right there. I'm fucking blocked. If you want to participate in that's your choice, okay? But to me, the old group now, that woman is still an admin. At any point when she's having a bad day, she can just take it over. And then it's like, okay, so that's stupid. We need a group run by adults who are not this impulsive. And so I have admins that run my Turtleboy OnlyFans page. No, like on the Facebook one, not the other one. So my OnlyFans on Facebook, we have a group for that, for fans. And other people I've trusted over the years who are now the admins of this group. And I'm like, basically let anything up that isn't, that's on topic, right? So an example of something that comes down. Somebody already fucking posted yesterday about like, oh, my brother, 2018, my brother got beat up by the Gloucester police and we need justice. It's like, dude, we're not doing this. I didn't research your case. Don't have time to. You could be bullshit for all I know. I'm not associating. Like, it's not your time. Okay. Not your show. Sit down. Get your own page. We're talking about Karen Reed stuff here. Building morale, spreading awareness, stimulating conversation. I'm all for the crazy talk. Like, people want to have crazy talk about like, could this have happened? This, like people are posting in there about like, does Colin have CTE? I don't fucking know. I think that's a stupid conversation to have, but if you want to have it, then have it. I'm not trying to stop you from talking. We're just trying to keep it on topic to this. But absolutely, and again, so that people wanted to know, the only reason I'm addressing this is because a lot of people wanted to know what happened. And like that page, I think the right thing would do for the admins on that page, I think there's only two, would be to just disband it and come join ours. Urge people to come, because having two groups like this is confusing to people and will divide it. But I'll tell you right now, I'm blocked on that page. I will never comment on it. I will never post on it. I will never share information with anyone who is an admin in that group. Nothing. You will be kept in the dark. Everything will go on the other page. So I'd highly recommend doing that, because you can't have two pages of this. Like, it's like Civil War shit. You can't do it. All right. Anyway, so there's that. Okay. So let's talk about some topics. So first thing I want to talk about, because we got a lot to get through here. I want to talk about Allie McCabe, because we haven't had a chance to talk about this one. What a freaking development this was. And some people didn't seem to understand what big news this was. People like, this is the big story. Yeah. The murder conspiracy. now involves Jen McCabe's child. Big fucking deal. She's been grand jury. So we have sources in the Moakley courthouse. And I know more people that have been grand jury now since this. So the following people have been subpoenaed to the federal grand jury that I know is a 100% fact. Jen McCabe, Allie McCabe, Colin Albert, Brian Albert, Steve Scanlon has been grand jury. We got sources down there. Steve Scanlon. Steve Scanlon, if you're unfamiliar, I need to do a vlog on him. He is the initial whistleblower in this. He is the first one that went to David Yannetti on around February 3rd and said, Karen didn't do this because, and I know who did, he was beaten up inside that house. He's the first person to blow the whistle on that. He didn't have much evidence to back that up, any evidence really to back it up. He had just been told this. He would not reveal who his source was, but he seemed to have information. And so from that point forward, the whole thing smelled fishy to Yannetti. I mean, he said at one of the first hearings, he looks like he got beat up by Mike Tyson because he did. It didn't. You could tell just from watch the first arraignment hearing. Listen to Yannetti's press conference afterwards. He's like, it just doesn't smell right. Something's off about this. And so that confirmed to him that something was indeed off about this. And from that point on, they can launch their investigation. So they hire PIs and all that. That's all because of the Steve Scanlon whistleblowing thing. Now, I talked to Steve Scanlon on the phone a while back for like 10 minutes. And I was asking him all about this. He confirmed to me on the phone that he did indeed go to David Yannetti. That he spoke to David Yannetti. He told him these things. So everything I'm telling you right now, Steve Scanlon has confirmed this to me. I have a call log of our call, the date it happened, everything. Took notes, got it all. So he has been grand juried. Caitlin Albert and Brian Albert Jr. grand juried. Dude, this is like recently. This is falling apart for them. And we should have seen this coming with all of the Colin wasn't in the house talk. That's like how, like that came out of nowhere. The Colin in the house stuff came out of nowhere. And if they're subpoenaing Steve Scanlon, somebody like that, it's like, what angle do you think they're pursuing? What some people, Cofindaffer will say, they're just pursuing the corruption angle. And I know Cofindaffer is listening. She always does. I'm much smarter than you, Jennifer. I know a blogger is much better than this at you. I'm embarrassing you. And when this all goes down, you're going to be on record supporting cop killers and your career is going to be over. So there's that. Because you have an obsession with me. What other reason would they have to talk to Steve Scanlon other than if they're pursuing the killed in the house angle? Now, somebody asked me the other night in Turtle Club, I think it was Adam Hurst, asked me, well, the feds don't try you for murder. And that's true. But I've looked into it a little bit more. And so basically what they would do then is the attorney general would then take over. So if there's a federal indictment here, they would go after bigger fish. I am guessing, my sources tell me, that the target of the investigation is Michael Morrissey's office, which is, if that is true, and that turns out to, if Michael Morrissey is handcuffed and arrested, this will be arguably the biggest law and order scandal in American history. Because I can't ever, have you ever heard of anything like this? A district attorney being arrested for protecting cops who killed another cop. And in doing and framing a woman they know to be innocent. And by the way, there's no way that Morrissey is not the target of this. There's no way. He has to be the target of this. And I think that's what was behind his video last week. I think that the way that the feds would get Michael Morrissey is that they would have to prove that he knew Karen was innocent and pursued this anyway. And in doing so, violated her civil rights. So I think he made that video to make it seem that, no, I actually really believe this bullshit. I really fucking believe this. I think that's why he made that video. Because there's no other explanation for how that video came out. Suddenly, once the grand jury shit starts picking up, Michael Morrissey, who has not said a word about this, decides to go on camera and give that statement. And there is no way that that statement was not rehearsed, planned, discussed. Like, there is a reason they said everything in that statement. So this is huge, man. This is huge. And Allie McCabe being grand juried confirms that she is the one who gave Colin Albert a ride home. Remember, they've been for a while now. Cofindaffer basically speaks for the Alberts on Twitter, the former FBI hack. She actually had a screenshot of Chris messaging her one time. She forgot to redact it. But so she goes and does this, right? And I have an announcement coming on Tuesday about something Chris Albert did that's probably going to get him in serious trouble with the FBI for witness intimidation. Wait till you hear what this freaking jackwagon did. Oh, Maroon. But all of these people being grand juried. So where was I? I got off on a tangent there. Okay, Allie McCabe. Why is this a big deal? Well, it proves that. So what they've been saying now, Cofindaffer and them, what they've been saying is that, well, Colin got out of there at 12:11 or something like that, and they have proof. They have life 360 data proving that she was at the house at 12:11 to pick up Colin. That's what they've been telling us. Now, they didn't tell us it was her. They said it was a minor and that they can't reveal who it is because then we'll attack her. Well, wouldn't it make sense now that her ride was Jennifer McCabe's daughter? Who else? I mean, these two kids, they're adults now, but they have been friends for quite some time, like weird, odd friends, like I don't know, like they're not cousins. They share the same uncle. Brian and Nicole are uncle and auntie to both of them, but they are not blood related at all. So I guess I'm sure Jen, in her heart of hearts, hopes that she marries Colin Albert. She would, without a doubt, 100%, she would have full approval of this guy marrying her daughter.
Yo, your advantage boys. I will beat all your asses. I promise you, I will fuck you all up. Pull up, bitch.
So there they are, giving the Canton salute. They're best buds. There she is. And I don't know, like, keep in mind also, a lot of people, for a while, I've thought that the 12:33 call to Tom Beatty's daughter was about getting a ride home. I mean, that's what we assume, right? Now, what do you think that call was? Now we know it's not for the ride home, but he definitely called her at 12:33, 100%. And the only reason that I could think of is alibi, because Aaron Beatty wasn't there and he needed to be put somewhere else. She didn't answer, though. She called him back the next day. He's like, never mind. So take from that what you will. But, you know, I just thought it was strange. I'm like, who was Colin Albert there with? And how the fuck did he get home? But they're not going to be able to. Colin was there when John got there. So they don't have any evidence, nothing that can get. They are trying desperately to prove that Colin wasn't there. And if this idiot, if this daughter, I'm sure she was asked about it, if she lied to the grand jury, which she might have, because her family is very stupid. They're fucked because the grand jury is going, the feds don't ask you questions that they don't know the answers to. And if they ask you, what time did you get there? They already know because they've subpoenaed your phone records and they've looked through your data. They know where you were at what time. And so if she was stupid enough to lie about it, then she's going to get herself in some trouble. But does that not say so much about who Jen McCabe is, that she would allow her daughter, she would invite her daughter to become part of a criminal conspiracy involving a murder of a cop? Like, that's how twisted they are and evil that they would do something like that. Jennifer McCabe was just so involved immediately. If you look at like her phone, she called John at 12:29. She later claimed she butt dialed him. He answered. Somebody answered that phone for him. The fact that she called him, she knew what he was unconscious by 12:29. And she called, and Karen Reed is sitting out there, and she called his phone. And she answered it. Like, so she was immediately in cover-up mode with this. She also called him 6 times between 12:40 and 12:50. She lied to the police and said that she saw Karen drive away at 12:45 because she's making it seem like, oh, I saw them out there and, he wasn't coming in. So I kept calling him. He didn't answer. It turns out he was in the snow dying. Oops. And I didn't go outside and like make sure he's okay. That didn't interest me. I just like, fuck it. Let's get drunk. Then she gave Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel a ride home at 1:47, and she went home and she Googled how long to die in cold before deleting it. The mere fact that this woman is deleting anything, like, she doesn't deny that all those phone calls between 5 and 7, she deleted it. How can you possibly think she's innocent after that? Why? Who deletes? Like, I can understand deleting all your calls, trying to clear your phone data or whatever, but just between 5 and 7, just around the time of the murder, yeah, just delete those ones. Oh, okay. And again, a federal grand jury would have no interest in Allie McCabe or Colin Albert. Like, Colin doesn't have anything to offer you about corruption or, widespread criminality in the criminal justice. He doesn't know anything about that. So he knows things about murders, though. So that's why they brought him there. So again, it explains everything. It explains Chris's erratic behavior at the waterfall. It explains, first of all, it explains her daughter's behavior. Watch again. And Kevin from Yellow Cottage Tales, it's so ironic he brought this up. He this is stupid. Why did he do that? No, this was actually quite revealing, Kevin. This video was quite revealing now, especially in light of the fact that Allie McCabe has now been federally grand juried. Because her behavior in this video is very interesting, I thought. Let's watch this. Okay, when I confront them. Doing? Matt, how you doing, pal?
How you been?
Hey, tough guy, how you been? Hey, tough guy, how you been? Been good, man. How you doing? Look at that. Oh my God. Good. How are you doing?
Good.
How you doing?
That's how short you were.
Hey, John, how you doing? So there's the daughter sitting right there. Fancy seeing you here. And she doesn't care. She's just arrogant. How are you? You're amazing, she says. Right. So how did court go the other day?
Went great.
Sorry, do you have a child on the team?
Okay. Do you?
I do, so I'm trying to watch.
No, I'm at a public event, so I can do whatever I want. So anyway, Jen, I have a question. Did you think that you could outsmart Karen Reed? Did you? And look at the daughter. Like, I just thought that her behavior, it was just like unfazed. Like, she's not like, what is going on here? Yeah. It's like, whatever. Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny? How long to die in cold? What is this gentleman doing? Look at that deranged face. Hey, now, look, if you look at her daughter's face here when Matt was doing that, watch her reaction. Look at that deranged face. They're like laughing about it. They think it's funny. Oh, Matt's fucking with them. Hey, Jen. It's funny. Murder's funny. Are you worried about what's going to happen to your family when you go to jail?
Don't touch me.
Why are you shaking,
touch
dude?
Me again.
Why are you shaking?
Again. Touch me again.
So, Jen, are you worried about what's going to happen when your kids go to jail?
Touch me again.
When you go to jail, I apologize
Touch me
to your
again.
children. Are you worried at all
Huh?
about that?
Huh?
Huh?
Touch
Oh,
me.
oh, oh, what's going on here?
Oh, you're so fast.
Oh, what are we
I
doing
didn't
here?
know how short you were.
Jen, did you think that you could outsmart Karen Reed? Yes or no? Did you? Why did you Google how long to die in cold, Jen? Why did you Google how long to die in cold, Jen? Why did you Google how long to die in cold, Jen? Do you have any answer for that?
Is that the perfect that was just?
Do you have any answer for that?
Come on,
Miss McCabe, do you have any
Time
answer
to
for that? Why should I leave, sir? I just have some questions. I just want to know why she Googled how
Hold
long
on,
to
the
die in
rain's
cold.
coming in. Heads up.
I just wanted to know why she
I'm opening
Googled
my
how long to
umbrella.
die in
Heads up.
cold. I'm just curious. See, they laughed. Watch this little laugh here. Watch this. The daughter says something to her in her ear, and then watch how Jen reacts. I thought this was telling. Watch this.
Heads up.
I just wanted to know why she
I'm opening
Googled
my
how long
umbrella.
to die in
Heads up.
cold. And see how they both crack up laughing at the same time? They both laugh.
I'm opening my
Like they're like making fun of me or
just
something.
curious.
I don't know. Then Richie.
I'm just curious.
Oh God. Anyway.
Great. You look great.
Anyway, so we get kicked out. I call them cop killers. It just seemed odd about her. Like she seemed too normalized to this. And it just seemed, I remember leaving there and thinking that girl knows something. That girl's way too cool with this situation. Now watch. And so when Richie went up there and to show me where he's sitting, he sends me this video. He's like, just to show me his relation to them. And I watched the video and I texted him and I'm like, dude, they see you. I don't know if you noticed that. They see you in this video. Watch this. Like, look up there at Allie. See Allie McCabe up there? Watch this. She points him out right there. She's like, I see him. He's pointing the can. Like, they were so on edge. Look at him standing up there. Like, they were looking for me. They knew I was coming. And then Matt McCabe comes over with this goofy thing, and he waves. Okay? And so, but Allie's the one who pointed him out. Like, she was, like, on the lookout. Like, she knows too much. Something was up about this girl. So, I messaged her for comment. I haven't heard back from her. But either way, you know, not a good look. You're going into your sophomore year of high school, and what'd you do this summer? Oh, I was, subpoenaed to testify in front of a federal grand jury about my involvement in the murder cover-up. So that's what I did. Again, things are not going well for them if Allie McCabe and Steve Scanlon and Caitlin Albert are being sent federal and subpoenas to appear in front of a grand jury. Things are not going well for them. Things are actually unraveling. So let's talk about some new things that happened. So there were 5 new motions filed. One by the defense, and then they had 2 attachments with it, and 4 by the Commonwealth. And we've looked into a couple of these, but I'm going to start with the one by Karen Reed's team about Lucky Loughran, because this is obviously big. Before I do that, let me read a couple donos here. Some turtle chats. Let me read some turtle chats. First up, we got Kathleen sends $25 and says, guess what, Doc? Shut the fuck up. You're right. It never gets old. It never gets old. Spammy sends $50 and says, I have several Ring cameras as the primary account. I'm the only one who can delete video. Karen Reed was probably a shared account on John's with no way to delete it. Didn't Proctor have John's phone? Exactly. These idiots. This is the kind of stuff they're hanging on to. Well, why did she delete the Ring video from Meadows Ave? Do you have any evidence she did? It is deleted. It's gone. I know that because the defense has filed 4 separate motions asking for it because it's just gone and they'd like to see it, but it's gone. So, and probably on there, like something must have happened. Somebody moved John's car. By the way, John's car, multiple people in West Bridgewater have seen John's car driving around. So we looked up the plates yesterday and they came back. So as they're still, because Paul O'Keefe lives in West Bridgewater and that car is evidence because Karen Reed backed into that car. Like, what happened with that car? Like, It hasn't been inspected by the defense for, damage to it, anything like that. Because nothing can be trusted with the prosecution. Have they looked at it? Have they done anything to it? You would be able to tell that. But is just driving around West Bridgewater. So you look up the plates, and the car, guess who it's registered to? The car's registered to John O'Keefe, deceased. Well, you might say, well, maybe this, it's been less than 2 years, renewal. It was renewed after he was dead. They renewed a dead guy's car under his name. I don't even know if that's legal. So Paul O'Keefe is driving around, it seems, in his car because it's in West Bridgewater. There's that. You tell me. But I forgot where I was going with this. The Ring camera thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see what's going on. Like the Ring camera thing. If Karen Reed deleted that somehow, I got news for you. That's really easy to prove. You can see. You can just go onto John's account and see who deleted it. It's that simple. So like these people act like what year are we living in here? I'm sure you could figure that out, who deleted the video. But of course she didn't delete it, because you think that's on her fucking mind at that point? It's not legal? Yeah, if you look at his car registration, his car was renewed on I believe it was March 1st, 2022. So over a month after he died. They renewed a dead guy's registration. Probably because they wanted to keep the car. I guess they wanted to keep the car. Why don't you just register under your name? I don't get that. But again, for all the people telling me, oh, you have to be nice to the family. Oh, the family. They're registering his car and doing shady GoFundMes for kids that have a multi-million-dollar trust fund set up by Karen Reed, by the way, who also bailed Paul O'Keefe out of jail for a DUI in 2020. And now this guy's sitting in court being like, I don't like DUIs. They make me mad. DUIs are mad. Meanwhile, he almost killed an elderly man while drunk, and Karen Reed bailed him out of jail. So there's that. Okay. Next one. Mark sends $50 and says, we appreciate your hard work. I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you very much, sir. Peanut Head donates $10. Says, hey, doctor, guess what? Shut the fuck up. Our household's decided that after hearing Brian Albert's voice for the first time, he sounds like a little bitch. He does, and should be slapped. Also, Morrissey is a fat fuck. Keep up the phenomenal work, and please give a shout out to my Bobby Lou. Shout out to Bobby Lou. I appreciate that, Peanut Head. Jackie sends 25, says, keep it up, Doc. I'm originally from Canton, and the corruption you're finally exposing is a long time coming. P.S. The chicken parm was always mediocre. You got that right. Jack, 8-pounder, sends $100 and says, thank you. Why doesn't Soros funded Antifa or BLM care about these corrupt cops? You'd think that would be a nationwide organization against these buck crickets. It's really simple. Karen Reed's the wrong color, my friend. Karen Reed's a white woman. So fuck her. Like, that's the philosophy on that one. But that's a good question. That's a good question. If your general philosophy is fuck, police and fuck the institutions and all this stuff, it's like, well, now you got me on board with that. And where are you? Your team institution. Like, these people are like, yeah, go Michael Morrissey. Give it to him, Brian Albert. Oh, owned. Give it to him, Jennifer Cofindaffer. Like, you're like team establishment. Congratulations. I broke your brains. You never actually gave a shit about defunding the police or criminal justice reform. You didn't give a shit about any of that. You just want to do the opposite of whatever I do. Owned. So thank you. Tom sends 25 and says the swimming pool was filled in for a reason. You can't prove that. That's an opinion. But if gun to my head, yeah, they didn't just suddenly decide to do that. Do you know why that hasn't been dug up for possible evidence? They need a warrant. They need probable cause that something is buried in that pool. I think that's going to be hard to get. P.S. Tracy, your hair looks great. Oh, thank you. Kelly sends $20. Says Saturday date nights with you and my husband. Oh, tag team. We look forward to this every week. Keep doing what you're doing. This is a movement unlike anything I've ever seen before. Thank you. You're right about that, Kelly. I appreciate that, man. Wayne sends $5 and says, can we start calling D.A. Morrissey Jabba the Hutt? I mean, not because we need an original name. We do need a name for him. Like Gloppy or something. I don't know. We need a name for Morrissey. I'll think of something. Maureen sends $25 and says a big thank you to the Roccos and all of their efforts. And of course to the doctor as well. No more drama. Yep. We must keep our eyes on the prize and keep the pure unity we saw on the steps of the courthouse in July. Absolutely. Daddy's in charge now. Everything's going to go back to normal. We're going to fix it. Also in the Cash App, we got a couple of Cash Apps here. Nick Rocco sends $28. Says for Karen Reed supporters raised the money. We just organized it. You're right about that, Nick. Daniel sends $25 and says, did anyone ask the tow guy about Karen's taillight? Yes, actually, the diamond tow guy. We have a recording of him. I don't know why I haven't blogged about this. He did it with Jeff Leary from Fall River Raw. He's like, it wasn't broken. And we've seen pictures of it. And I'm going to bring that up in 1 minute, actually. So thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Kathleen sends $25 and says, love your dedication to free Karen Reed. Thank you, Kathleen. Brad sends $100 and says, thank you for staying true to the cause. To Karen and John. Thank you very much, Brad. I appreciate that, sir. Herbie sends $20 and says, for a good chicken parm at Northeast in Leicester. Is that a restaurant? Northeast in Leicester? Whenever I go to Leicester, I go to Ellers. I'm a big Ellers guy, but I'll have to check that out. Thank you, sir. Sylvia sends $25 and says, for my favorite word is cunt. Thanks for using it often. She cut right to the point. Thank you very much. If anyone else wants to donate, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and we can do it that way as well. All right. Let's get back to the content here. All right. So, 7 motions, as I said, were filed, but a really explosive one contained. Again, this is now the second motion that contains my investigative journalism. The last one was me threatening to be killed and buried in Auntie Bev's yard. Now it's my interview with Lucky Loughran, which was not a hard interview to get. And Lucky watches every episode. I'm sure he's watching this one right now. Lucky, you might as well come on the show sometime. I used my photographic memory to transcribe the 5-minute conversation we had. And Lucky specifically told me that he went by Fairview Road, plowed it at 2:30 that morning, and that there was nobody on the front yard. He told me of 34 Fairview, Brian Albert's house. He came back an hour later, he said, and he was going to plow Fairview, but he couldn't because there was a Ford Edge parked where the body would later be found by Karen Reed. Oh, we'll get to this in 1 second. Actually, let me, because I was about to, so I don't forget this. I haven't showed you this police report. Let me pull this police report up because one of the donors sent this and it sparked my memory. So the Dighton police report. So when they came and took Karen Reed's vehicle from her parents' house in Dighton that morning, Michael Proctor said he got there at 4:30 and left at 5:30. It was towed at 5:30, which would make it impossible for him to plant taillight evidence at the scene of the crime before the 5:45 CERT team search. Well, he lied. And I did not even include this in I got this as part of my Freedom of Information Act request. This is the police report. And I want to read some. I found a little tidbit here that I found interesting. So this says, on January 29th, I, Patrolman Nicholas Barros, while in full uniform and in Mark Cruiser 578, at approximately 2:31. At approximately 2:31, I received a phone call from troopers assigned to the Norfolk DA's office. The trooper I spoke to advised me that they were on their way to a residence in North Dighton to speak to a party and retrieve a vehicle that was involved in an incident that occurred yesterday, early this morning. They advised me that the vehicle that they were looking to impound was involved in a homicide. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with that statement? What is, I have not seen that before. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with that statement? Well, let me see in the comments. Who knows what's wrong with that statement? Let's see. Let me check the chat. There it is. They hadn't seen the car yet. Trooper, according to this cop, Barrows from Dighton, he spoke with Proctor on the phone. And Proctor told him in no uncertain terms at 2:30, before ever seeing the vehicle, that he was going to retrieve it and that it was going to be impounded because it was involved in a homicide. How could he know that before speaking with Karen Reed? Now, they found the body, but what did they not find until 5:45? Taillight. There was no taillight found until 5:45, the team search. How could he possibly know that Karen Reed's vehicle at 2:30, how could he possibly know that Karen Reed's vehicle was involved in a homicide at 2:30? What information did he have then? He hadn't interviewed Karen yet. He hadn't seen her car. He hadn't seen any taillight anywhere because that was not discovered until 3 hours later. Yet he knew at 2:30, he had made his mind up that this was a homicide and he was taking the car. He did not have authority to take that car. Karen Reed, in hindsight, should have told him to fuck off. You can get my car when you have a warrant for it. You're not touching my fucking car. I'm calling a lawyer right now, and you can wait for the fucking lawyer. And it goes on to say that they asked me if I could a tow company. They asked me if I could have a tow company that we use respond to the address with me to tow the vehicle. Before hanging up the phone, the trooper said that he would call me once he got closer so I could meet at the residence. At around 3 o'clock, I received a call from Trooper Michael Proctor. Trooper Proctor stated that he was about 10 minutes away from the residence and asked me to meet him there. I advised him that once I hung up with him, I would contact the tow company to respond as well. He hasn't seen the car yet. He's already towing it. Once I arrived, I met with the troopers and advised them that the tow would also be responding with a 15 to 20 minute ETA. We then went to the residence and the troopers made contact with the homeowner and his daughter, Karen Reed. While the troopers were speaking with Karen and her parents about the incident, I contacted Highway Superintendent Tom Ferry to ask if he could plow the driveway to the residence so that the tow truck could retrieve the vehicle from the driveway. Tom agreed and responded and plowed the driveway. Let it be known that today was a blizzard and the driveway had over a foot of snow. Diamond Towing, so a foot of snow, this car has been driven from Canton to Dighton, which is 35 minutes away, 40 minutes away, especially in the snow. So it went all that way. And then it gets towed all the way back. Snow has been accumulating on top of it. And yet they still find a human hair on it. A human hair. They have said, how many times have they said that's a human hair? Have they shown any testing to show that's a human hair? Anything? Have you guys seen anything? Anything? I haven't seen anything, but they've said a million times that is a human hair, and a piece of glass was embedded somehow in the quarter panel. Just one. Goes on to say, well, the troopers were speaking with Karen and her parents about the, okay. So the vehicle, whatever, they got it. So good job, Dighton police. You did your job here. But anyway, and I'm sure they really appreciate getting brought into this bullshit. Jesus Christ. So that's that. Anyway, back to this other story. I thought that was an interesting tidbit of information. So, Lucky told me, of course, just a reminder that the FBI confronted him a couple months ago with GPS data from his truck showing that he had plowed Fairview Road. It was undeniable. So he couldn't deny it. This is in direct contrast to Michael Proctor's report stating that Michael Trotta, the DPW director, told him that the Canton DPW does not plow Fairview Road. That some company called By the Yard does that. Doesn't matter. They said the Canton DPW doesn't plow it, which is a lie, because Lucky Loughran works for the Canton DPW and he regularly plows that road. That's his route, Fairview Road. So that's a lie. Why? Who's lying? Trotta? Is Trotta lying? Or is Proctor lying? One of them is certainly lying. Well, as it turns out, this latest motion has entered into evidence Karen Reed's private investigator, Paul Makowski, a retired Medford detective. These guys all end up becoming PIs. And he started his own PI business. And on February 14th, he was hired to go speak with Billy Walsh, the guy who kicked me out of his office in Canton. And he's the highway department supervisor who I met with. So first he went to Trotta, and Trotta basically told Trotta wasn't there. And so they referred him to Billy Walsh. And Billy Walsh is, I guess, the guy who sends the trucks out or whatever. And Makowski, he told something Makowski, Walsh had been instructed not to tell me, but I already knew, that Lucky Loughran plowed Fairview Road that night. So Walsh tells him this. And so then when Walsh goes, Makowski goes, the PI goes and finds Lucky Loughran. And this is for all the people saying, well, just because, there's always a just because with these people. They're not honest. They say, just because, just because Lucky said he didn't see a body doesn't mean the body wasn't there. He was probably focusing on the road. I've seen that one a million times. Oh, really? He's probably, well, don't worry. That was addressed. This is the exact report from the PI. It says, on February 15th, I met with Lucky Loughran, who plowed the area that includes 34 Fairview Road. Mr. Loughran indicated that he made 2 or 3 passes down Fairview Road during the shift. He said he had, and then they'll say, well, it was a blizzard out. It was a blizzard out, right? He probably couldn't see. They're making up excuses for why Lucky was wrong, why Lucky's lying. He couldn't see, right? Oh, don't worry. That was addressed. That was addressed. Because Lucky said he had good visibility from the truck cab. I asked him whether he believed he would have seen a body on the lawn of Fairview Road if there was one there. Because again, these people will say, well, he just wouldn't have seen it. Just because he didn't see a body doesn't mean one wasn't there. So the guy specifically asks him, would you have seen a body if a body was there? Quote, without equivocation, Mr. Loughran said that he definitely would have seen a body in the front yard. He further stated that he always looks in front of him and from side to side. He reiterated that if there was a body there, there is no doubt he would have seen it. And he told the PI The same thing he told me about a Ford Edge being parked there. The same thing. Well, as it turns out, at the time, and when I asked Lucky, he said it wasn't Brian's Ford Edge. Now I think I know why he said that. Because I don't think it was Brian's Ford Edge. Colin Albert drives a Ford Edge. And that would make more sense. If Colin was responsible for this, he's going to have to clean up the mess. And they are going to need somebody to temporarily block, like park right there in case a plow wants to come down so they don't come down. And it blocks any neighbors from looking over and seeing. Well, there's a fence, guys, like over here on behind the house. Look at that side of the house. See that white fence back there? So the basement has like one of those doors, I forget what they're called. And it goes right to the backyard. That fence opens up. It's got a gate. There is a clear line with like some trees blocking it from there to the spot where the body was dropped. If you put a car like in the corner over here where the Ford Edge was seen, it would be a perfect, essentially, shield while they bring the body out. It's the bulkhead. Thank you. The bulkhead. It would be the perfect shield. And so that's what Lucky saw. That is so damning. And again, he never spoke with Michael Proctor. That's what he told me. Michael Proctor never spoke, never thought to look because he knew what Lucky was going to say. That's why By the Yard it was not a company that existed. It's still shady that By the Yard incorporated on April 25th, 2023. That's weird. Interesting timing. But By the Yard is somewhat of a distraction. It is supposed to distract you from Lucky Loughran. Like if you look at if you're talking about By the Yard, then you're not talking about Lucky Loughran. He's the important one. He's the one that actually plowed it. That By the Yard's existence gives Proctor a reason not to speak with him. And it is interesting that there's like 10 different random small companies that contract with the town of Canton to plow snow. They all have to have like liability insurance and everything. And it's interesting that of all the companies that do this, Proctor picked the one that is owned by a friend of the Alberts. That's interesting. But again, it was all maybe just in case they talked to him. Maybe. Anyway, the important part here, guys, is that this testimony from Lucky Loughran aligns with every quote unquote eyewitness from that house. Remember, they said there's 11 witnesses. There's 11 witnesses in that house. But how many of those witnesses saw a body on the front yard? Zero. That aligns with Lucky's testimony. That's really important. They're going to use that in court. Like every single person who left the house or drove by the house didn't see a body that was very visible from the street. Not much snow had accumulated by then. Jen McCabe told police it was 6 inches. That was a lie. That was a lie. Picture shows a lie. Weather reports shows a lie, etc. And none of them appeared. No, like the body was not seen until after the Ford Edge was seen there. After. So a minimum of 8 times, right? And again, I interviewed this guy, and a lot of people like this guy. I thought he was shady as fuck. Just because he's nice and smiling. Like, he protected Proctor during his speech, during his thing. He's like, yeah, he told me the GPS was down. He goes, I believe the GPS was down. Yeah, like middle of January, that's a lie, Michael Trotta. The GPS, sir, was not down, and that is what the motion has been filed with by the defense. They want the GPS from the trucks. Now that they know is a fact, they have a witness who told him the FBI showed him that. Now, if that is not probable cause to get it, I don't see how Auntie Bev denies them that. I don't see why the prosecution would oppose that. Again, if there's nothing to hide, then show it, right? Don't you want to see that? Don't you want to see that? All right. All right. So, and again, imagine like the fact that, you know, when we're talking about PIs and stuff, like these guys cost money and shit. Why is Karen Reed paying for this? Like, why am I and you all and Karen Reed's defense attorney, like, and Karen Reed herself, why are they paying all this money for this shit? Why are they doing all the work? This is the police's job. Why am I doing the state police's job? Like, we should all get a refund on our taxes for this. Like, why? Outrageous. Outrageous. Okay. So that's that one. Let's talk about the next one. The Commonwealth changing their story. This is one I did today. To me, this one's more shocking. Much more shocking. Like, my jaw dropped from this shit. Every like sentence I read on this was like progressively crazier than the last. Okay. And by the way, let me read a couple turtle chats here. Trish sends $25 and said, I just Googled how long to have sex with the turtle. Oh, man. Depends how much you've been drinking. Oh, okay. So thank you, Trish. I appreciate that. Annette sends $10 and says, lying to the FBI, 5 years jail time. Just lying, even if you did nothing wrong. Interesting. I did not know that. Well, wouldn't that be a shame? That's going to hurt your soccer career. Do we have any? I don't want to miss anyone here. Okay. If anyone else wants to donate, they can. Bubsy69. Okay. Northeast is the pizza joint across from the Castle restaurant. Okay. I'll have to give it a shot. I've never eaten at the Castle restaurant. I see it every time I go by there, but never eat there. All right. So let's pull up this one. Oh, the Rumble Donuts. Have there been Rumble Donuts? I don't see. Yeah, I don't. The Rumble Donuts. Yeah, I'd prefer if you guys just did it on the Cash App. That would be cool. I mean, the Cash App or the Turtle Chat. That would be cool. Okay, I see 838 Rumble Rats. Nice to see. Nice to see. Okay, so let me. You fulfill my fantasy every night. All right. Don't know if you're male or female, but I appreciate that either way. Okay. So let's talk about this, man. So the Commonwealth filed 4 motions yesterday, and one of them was to get the alarm.com footage. And I saw Kevin from Yellow Cottage Tales. Oh, he's trying so hard to both sides. This, he said something to the effect of, well, they're trying to get a video. Yeah, they are, Kevin. They're trying to get the alarm.com video. So let me explain what this video is that they want. Okay. So Michael Proctor stated in his reports that he arrived at the home of Karen Reed's parents at 4:30. He stated this several times. That is a lie. We know that's a lie now. And then he noticed a shattered taillight and then had her car towed. But that's not what happened according to the Dighton Police Department. And he said the car was out of there by 5:30. The CERT team did their search at 5:45 in Canton, which would make it impossible for Proctor to have planted the taillight evidence in time prior to the CERT team search. And it's all documented here. But this is a problem because alarm.com footage from Karen Reed's house shows the car being towed at 4:12 p.m. and you see the taillight is clearly not shattered in that image, not shattered. So this was more than enough time, obviously, since it was towed at, the scene was cleared at 4:17 p.m. That's more than enough time to, break. Like, first of all, why are you bringing it to Canton? Why are you bringing the car to Canton? Sean and the Gulf pointed this out. And it's one of the most underrated points about this is why is that car going to Canton? The Canton Police Department aren't on this. The state police are. The closest state police barracks there, I believe, was Middleton. But if you want to keep it close to Canton, I guess Milton. Not Middleton, I apologize. Middleton's North Shore. Middleborough. Too many middles. It's also in Middlefield, but that's in Western Mass. But anyway, they brought it to Canton, who don't have the police department, who don't have control of the case at all, aren't involved, but they are the closest to 34 Fairview Road. So that's interesting too. Anyway, now that the Commonwealth realizes the defense, has this proof, because keep in mind, the defense hasn't, I don't think the defense has put this in motion. I'm not sure, but they read everything I write. The Commonwealth does. They read everything that I write. They've mentioned me in court documents. Like they're reading all of this. So they are realizing by reading my blog that like I've hit this a million times. What time was the car towed from Dighton thing. So they are now changing their story because that's what honest, district attorneys do. They just change their story in the middle of a murder trial. So like I was reading this motion last night, and like I gasped, like, oh my God. Like it's crazy in real life to see it. I have the charging documents memorized. I know all 20 pages of it like the back of my hand. I know what time everything happened, whatever. So when I read something new and I see something irregular that wasn't there before, I'm going to immediately notice it. And I know a lot of you people are just as into this as I am, and you would notice it too. So the charging documents, right? So the purpose of this motion, right, that the Commonwealth is filing is to, quote, refute the claims of police misconduct about what time Proctor arrived and left. So first of all, if this is, you're already on the defense, Commonwealth, like you're the defense now. That's not good. That's not going to play well for a jury. You should tap out. This is not going this is not going to end well. But they're not going to tap out because they're shameless. So this is what they write. They said that the video is material and relevant to the condition of the vehicle, weather conditions, and to refute the defendant's claim of police misconduct. It would resolve any perceived inconsistency of the defense regarding the law enforcement's arrival or subsequent actions. So I'm like thinking to myself, why are they doing this? They're going to get that alarm.com footage, and it's just going to confirm everything that we've said, that it was towed at 412, that the taillight was not broken. So if you want this video that shows that Proctor lied, have at it. Except they lied too. They're now lying too about what time the car was towed. So here's another lie. In Michael Morrissey's press conference the other day, he made that outrageous statement that what's his name was never at the scene. Michael Morrissey, right? Was never at the scene. I mean, Michael Proctor was never at the scene. That's absurd. First of all, you're going to say your lead detective didn't go to the murder scene on the day of the murder. Okay. So you're incompetent. But of course, we've seen several documents that say that he was there, right? Like it says right here. Later that morning, MSP Detective Unit was notified and responded to the scene as well. The paragraph above this is talking about the Canton police being at the scene. So the scene in this context is 34 Fairview Road. So even though this paragraph doesn't say that the scene is 34 Fairview Road, in context, the scene is 34 Fairview Road. That's what they're talking about. That's where they're at. So Michael Proctor, and of course he arrives there. Why wouldn't he go to the scene? That Proctor arrived and were among the troopers whom responded to the scene and began interviewing witnesses. So again, they interviewed witnesses there, like Katie McLaughlin. Although she wasn't interviewed till the next day. She was interviewed January 30th. Again, I know this like the back of my hand. So I don't even know who he interviewed at the scene. Jen McCabe? I mean, she doesn't get interviewed till the friends and family meeting at 11:30. So when did she get it? Who's he interviewing at the scene? So now it's changed. In my draft, like I was, look at this. It says later that morning, the state, look what they've changed. They've changed it from responded to the scene as well to responded to the Canton Police Department. The new motion is just adding shit. So the scene now is Canton Police Department. And that to me is proof of of Jennifer Cofindaffer's involvement in this. Again, if you're unfamiliar with this idiot, I wrote a blog about her. She's a former disgraced FBI agent who, let me pull it up here. Oh God. Where do you see this idiot's Twitter? I mean, she's just obsessed with me. Like, she's obsessed with it. She pretends to be like a real whatever. What does a laboratory trace unit do on behalf of law enforcement? They perform analysis on items to look for trace evidence from other items. Bingo. It appears. Oh, this is another thing we have to get to. A piece of Karen Reed's taillight was in John O'Keefe's clothing. This is the new thing. They're putting taillight in the fucking clothing. This is damning evidence. Is it? Is it? So, by the way, I've read the report. It says that the taillight fragments are found in his undershirt. So they went through his fucking, he had the long sleeve shirt on. They didn't find taillight fragments on the shirt. They found it on the undershirt. It got under it some fucking how. Like that, those taillights were going everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, this is fucking insane. Everywhere. I invite folks to explain how such material could be embedded in the material of this clothing. You can't plant trace particles. Why the fuck can't you? Why can't you? You just fucking put them there. You can't. Oh, you can't. Really? You can't. The FBI lady says you can't, though. See, I guess you can't. My eyes are on justice for John O'Keefe and his family. Okay. And this idiot goes on and explains it. She's such an idiot. Anyway, let me she had another tweet that I thought was pretty revealing about this whole thing. What the fuck are these? By the way, here's, look at, she posted this video of me. Watch this.
Jurors, you like that, Adam Lowry? You like that, Michael? Look at all these potential jurors. You like that, Adam Lowry? You like that, Michael Morrissey? We are getting to your potential jury pool. You told us to stop because we're too affected, but we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. We're going to go stronger. We're going to be focusing all over.
Yep, I said that. She acts like, oh, this is like a gotcha. Yo, I totally said that. We are trying to, and because she made another post saying that, like, this statement he made about trying to affect a jury pool, this is grounds to move it. Okay, move it. Move it to Bristol County, move it to Worcester County. Doesn't matter. You can move it to any county in Massachusetts. Wherever you move it to, I am going to infect the jury pool. Just know that. So you can bring it. I would actually appreciate it if you got this case moved to Worcester County, because that would save me a shitload on gas money. It would be way easier for me to start doing some handouts in Holden, because I live here, or Worcester, or freaking Paxton, or Shrewsbury, or whatever, because it's a lot closer. So that would be very convenient for me if you got it moved. This is what this idiot is arguing. Oh my God, she's so stupid that she used to work for the FBI. So she posts that. What else did she post? Then she goes, this is very concerning to me. Is it to you? Time for a poll. And this is about me. So she did a poll about me. She's doing a poll about me, guys. She says, should you let him holler? It's his First Amendment right. He is further damaging his reputation. I like how she adds that. Like, let him holler. B, this action, the video I just did, is going too far. His intent is clear, directly out of his mouth. The venue should be changed and not be disclosed until after jury selection. Right. And guess what one? Let him speak. Everyone just like drop the charges, investigate what happened in the house. Bitch, no one's listening to you, you dumbass. No one is listening to him. But where's the really fucked up one? Let's see. For those of you who think there is a conspiracy to frame Karen Reed for the murder of her then boyfriend, John O'Keefe, the list below shows all of those that are alleged to have been involved in said conspiracy. Julie Nagel, absolutely. By the way, fuck Julie Nagel. Fuck Julie Nagel. I hate Julie Nagel. I like her brother, but I really hate Julie Nagel. Like, girl, I know you're not really easy on the eyes, and so you think that Brian Albert is like some junior, some sort of catch, but he's really not worth going to jail over. Like, her statement about seeing, which she gave 9 months later, and she was obviously coached to give an answer to, that she saw a body. She didn't say she saw a body. She said she saw a shadowy figure on the front lawn, because she can't say that she saw a body, because then the next logical question is, well, why didn't you call 911? And if she says she didn't see a body, it only further lends credence to the defense's argument that there's no body there. So if she says something like, oh, I saw a shadowy figure, which she did not say, she's just making that up. It's so obvious that she was coached to say that. And that's why I say, fuck Julie Nagel. She's not some innocent person in this. She can go and burn in fucking eternal hell for all I care. 78 Highland Street. Julie Nagel. We went to her house. She tried putting a thing over the mailbox, but we found you. Because 76 is your neighbor, and they don't like you either. They gave us thumbs up. I mean, seriously, Julie Nagel. You saw what happened. Julie Nagel came out and told her brother not to come inside after asking him for a ride home because she witnessed a murder. That's what she did. She witnessed a murder, and she's like, I gotta go tell my brother to leave. I gotta, sorry, I gotta stay a little longer than I thought. We're in cover-up mode now. Go home, brother. Okay. I thought, bitch, you called for a ride. So fuck her. Caitlin Albert. Oh, yes. Caitlin Albert is 100% involved in the conspiracy. She was at the Waterfall Bar with them, came home, claims she left at 12:15. But that makes no sense at all. There's no way Caitlin Albert left at 12:15 with her boyfriend, Tristan. That doesn't make any sense. So it's going to be hard for her to stick with that story. Brian Albert. Oh, a decorated LEL. This girl's such a bootlicker. Nicole Albert. Yep. So all these family members who have self-interest in each other. Brian Higgins. I got news for you. Brian Higgins flipped. He's no longer in the conspiracy. Matt McCabe. Jen McCabe. Yep. Need to cover for each other. Chloe is not involved in the conspiracy because she's a fucking dog. The state police. Yeah. You know what? Obviously not all state troopers, but the institution, sure, certainly. Michael Proctor is doing this. We all know Michael Proctor's dirty. And the fact that he's still out on the job, that says it all. Somebody asked, why is Proctor still out on the job? And the answer to that is the Massachusetts State Police are a criminal organization that I have no respect for. And I'll tell any trooper that. Like, I'm friends with troopers. I'm like, sorry, dude. Your employer's a joke. I know you guys have guns. And that's what this all comes down to. I thought about this the other day. The gun factor. And like, this is why the Second Amendment exists. You know why they're doing this? You know why Adam Lally and Michael Morrissey can be so brazen like this and just be like, fuck you, Karen Reed. Yeah, like we're just being corrupt in front of you and covering this up in front of you and lying and issuing press statements about Michael Proctor not being there. You know why we're doing that? Because we have the guns. That's all. This comes down to guns. They have all the guns. When you have all the guns, you can do whatever the fuck you want. This is literally why the Second Amendment was created. Not to go hunting, not for self-defense, but so that citizens have the right to protect themselves from tyranny. And this is why they want to disarm you. because they want to have all the guns. When they have the guns, they have the power because they can get you to do whatever you want. If Karen Reed was convicted for something, right? Like, why did Karen Reed have to go to jail? Why did she have to get handcuffed and brought to jail? Well, because the people that did it had guns. And if she didn't, they were going to use those guns on her. That's it. When you have the guns, you can do whatever you want. That's what this is about. They have the guns, so they can do anything. This is why the Second Amendment is so fucking important. Because they want to disarm you in order to take away your power from them. That's it. That's it. And we're seeing it right now. Like, they're that cocky. The Canton Police Department. Now, the Canton Police Department is actually not. I mean, Helena Rafferty's Ken Berkowitz is 100% in the conspiracy. The Canton Police Department actually worked counter to the conspiracy because their statements don't align with the state police's. The medical examiner's office, speaking of the medical examiner, let me bring this up, actually, now that you bring that up, Cofindaffer, Cofintwat, whatever your name is. Oh, no, did I bring it down? I got to bring up, let me show you this. I found something interesting on the medical examiner that we need to do a story on, I think. Check this out. We found another case involving Irene Scorti-Bello, the medical examiner in this. That's true. Kevin Albert's on the force. Yeah, that's true. In length, you're right. They do. They definitely do. The amended report is dated February 1st, 2013. Although Dr. Scorti-Bello performed the autopsy on May 12th, the date of Miss Panetta's death, a supplemental report prepared and signed by Dr. Scorti-Bello also on February 1st explains this fact. She points out that on the original report, under manner of death, she had written undetermined. But she changed that conclusion to homicide after talking with two ADAs and Kings County District Attorney's Office. She used to work in Long Island, I think. This woman, or is that Brooklyn, Kings County, whatever. It's still Long Island. But this woman, literally, like in this case, which I'm going to do a story on, right? She determined after looking at a dead person's body that the cause of death was undetermined. And then after speaking with two ADAs who told her, no, this is what happened. She's like, okay, homicide. The fact that this woman is a fucking ME shows how useless and corrupt the ME's office is. Like, they'll just say whatever. You have a badge? Sure. Why don't you tell me how he died? They brought his body in there, and they were like, with John O'Keefe, they're like, okay, so he got hit by a car, so make that work. She's like, I guess we'll just call those dog marks abrasions. We'll go with that. We'll just call them, I guess, fuck it. We'll call it blunt force trauma. It's funny. I have a 6 and an 8-year-old. I showed them the picture of John O'Keefe's arm the other day. And I said, what do you guys think did this? Without equivocation, both of them. Oh, it looks like he got bit. Not bit. They said it looks like he got scratched by a dog. Yeah, because anyone can tell that he got scratched by a dog. You don't have to be a corrupt medical examiner to know that. So back to this twat, because I was going somewhere with this. I get a little tangential here, but that's okay. You guys are still into it. The Canton Fire Department, just one person who gave misleading testimony, but in fairness, Proctor could be misquoting her. I was recently added allegation that I have a relationship with one of the Alberts in-laws. What? No one cares about you, stupid. Okay. But she did have one tweet that was really, really interesting. I'll find it. Is this the one? Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Now, I thought this tweet was bizarre when she posted it. And I think I showed it on Turtle Club the other night or whatever. But look at this tweet. report writing is one of the most difficult jobs in law enforcement. Karen Reed, conspiracy theorists, have found two entries that are confusing. Conspiracy theorists have chosen to call the DA a liar based on the attached writings. The DA's statement was correct when he said that Trooper Proctor was not at the Fairview address on 129. This useless government stooge, like whatever the police say, she's just going to go with. Trooper Proctor was there. There's multiple reports saying he was there. Morrissey lied, and her immediate inclination is, how can I defend the corrupt institution that just quite clearly lied to everyone? How can I defend them? Well, she says, in law enforcement, she's in law enforcement, guys, right? He was on call that day and got the ticket to respond to a homicide involving a motor vehicle. In law enforcement, when you are on call, you get the call, you go. You go, yeah, it's true. Those involved were Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, and he did not know them. So they just go. You get the call, you go. He wasn't on call that day, but okay. Although Trooper Proctor and his boss, Bukaki, hustled to respond, they had, this is the best, she just made this up, they had to rally up, find a vehicle that could tackle the blizzard conditions that existed. Who wants to tell her? State troopers take their cars home with them, dear. And every state issued, they're not giving state troopers Kia Sophias or, I don't know, Geo Metros. They got four-wheel drive. So she's like, they had to, and by the way, Proctor lives in Canton, so he could get there quickly. But according to her, in a place she knows nothing about, she says that they had to find a vehicle that could tackle the blizzard conditions. And by the time they arrived in Canton, the Fairview scene was so clear. So they go and they rally up. I guess they go to the local police barracks, which is in Milton. So his car, this is what she's telling you, that Michael Proctor's car can't drive in the snow. It can't get to 34 Fairview in the snow, but it can get to Milton in the snow, which is much further away. It can get to Milton. So the car that can't drive in the snow goes through 3 towns to get to the police barracks, and they get in a car there that does have 4-wheel drive, and then they go back to the scene. And because they took so long, by the time they get there, she says, his boss, so the scene was clear on Fairview by the time they got there. So Proctor and his boss went to the Canton police office scene. Trooper Proctor took custody of O'Keefe's cell phone, which had been retrieved from under O'Keefe's body by a Canton police officer. Who was that Canton cop? I don't know. Doesn't say that. At the Canton police scene. So she's saying, this is on August 31st. And remember this. This is important, guys. She tweets this out. This random FBI woman tweets this out and says definitively that when they said the scene, when Michael Morrissey said that Trooper Proctor was not at the scene that day, the scene he was referring to was Fairview Road. But in the report, it says that he went to the scene. But the scene means Canton Police Department. Why do I bring that up? Let's go back to this thing. Let's go back to this. So, the original report. Later that morning, the State Police Detective Unit was notified and responded to the scene as well. Those are the charging documents. So the scene, as we know, it was 34 Fairview Road, but the charging documents just, it says to the scene. So now the new document says they responded to the Canton Police Department. So they have changed the scene to Canton Police Department. Do you guys see what I'm getting at here? Do you see what just happened? Let me know in the comments if you guys figured out what happened here. Who figured out the mystery? Can anyone figure this out? What just happened here? No, she doesn't just spew it out of her mouth. She doesn't. What did she know? Yes, Heidi. Heidi got it. That, what she just posted, she posted that on August 31st. She posted that. When I read that tweet on August 31st, I'm like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That the scene, yes, half hammer. She said it before they did. No, she's not advising them. She's not advising them. They're leaking information to her. She said something in a tweet, a ridiculous statement, that the scene refers to Canton Police Department. And then the next day, on September 1st, in a court filing, that ridiculous statement that the scene refers to the Canton Police Department is put in a motion by the prosecution. They literally sub in the scene for Canton Police Department. Like they are the people that don't are so upset. They are really upset. They think the defense is leaking shit to me, and so they're going to leak shit to Cofindaffer. They are they're like, this woman has 70,000 followers. Let's just fucking use her. We need anything we can get at this point. Nobody is paying attention to us. Like, nobody believes us. So we need to get this information out there. Kof and Wendy. Anyway, they will likely argue that the scene didn't mean Fairview Road. And that is what they're arguing, right? Except there's also this Nicholas Guarino report. Because the charging documents just say the scene. But this February 4th report from Nicholas Guarino says that Trooper Proctor responded to 34 Fairview Road. So the scene is 34 Fairview Road. It says it right there. They're just lying. Then they add new sentences, like the defendant yelled at Miss McCabe twice to Google how long to be left outside to die from hypothermia. Well, what did they add in this one? In the new documents? How long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia, or something to that effect? They just added that in there because that's not what Jennifer McCabe Googled. She Googled how long to die on cold. So they had to add or something to that effect. It's just in real time when you see them doing it, it's fascinating. You're like, oh my God, I'm watching them cover this up. This is amazing that they're just doing this and they know we can all see this. What are they thinking? The defense has argued that in a properly investigated murder case, the witnesses will be questioned separately. They brought that up, right? Like, why at the friends and family meeting, why did they all get interviewed together? The charging documents state that Proctor interviewed the Alberts and McCabes together. It made no reference to separating them. But in the new one, so this document says the troopers interviewed Matt McCabe, period. And the new one, it says the troopers interviewed Matt McCabe separately from his wife. They're just adding sentences. And they think we're not going to notice. They're just adding sentences. This is crazy. They're doing it in front of our eyes. But again, why are they doing this, guys? Because they have the guns. When you have all the guns, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Because what the fuck are you going to do about it? You don't have guns. You might have a gun or a couple guns, but you don't have their guns. And you don't have what they have. And worst comes to worst, they got nukes. Like, they got everything. You don't. Because they have the fucking guns. So they can do this to us. How about this statement? Both times, in both ones, Matt McCabe told them that Karen Reed was heading in the same direction when she left that she had been facing while parked south. Then how did she do a 3-point turn, Matt? Later on, you would say that she did a 3-point turn because there were V-shaped tire marks in the road, because the story changes constantly. I mean, it's just so fucking insane. Oh, and by the way, like, I forgot to mention this earlier, but like multiple sources from Canton DPW, because we got sources too, baby, told me that the day after I wrote the blog about Lucky Loughran, because they read the blog, obviously, Michael Proctor was at the Canton DPW and he interviewed Lucky Loughran. And Lucky confirmed this to me, that he was interviewed by him. And one of the questions that Lucky was asked, according to Lucky, was, did he record it? Is there a tape? They're pursuing wiretapping charges against me. Like they're looking into that because I transcribed it because I have a photographic memory. And they're like, wait a minute, does he really have a photographic memory? Could he actually transcribe that entire conversation? Yes. Yes, I did. And good luck to you proving otherwise, sir. I transcribed the entire conversation. So there's no tape. There's no tape. So there's that. It's just like, that just shows how they are. They're like, well, maybe if we arrest him, maybe we charge him with something, that'll shut him up. I'm telling you, they are going to try to silence me. And it will never fucking work. I don't care how many fucking guns you have. You will never shut me up. I will, you couldn't, I have a fucking army behind me. I dare you fuckers to come after me. I dare you. Think I'm scared of you assholes? You have no power over me. You're a fucking joke. I will gladly take a charge over this. It means nothing to me. That will help with the documentary, quite frankly. Like, that's street cred. Charge me up. Think I care? Let's dance. So the charging documents state that when Proctor interviewed Brian and Nicole Albert, they told him that after leaving the Waterfall Bar, they went back to 34 Fairview Road and partied for 1 hour. Remember, there's pictures of Higgins and Albert in some court motion pushing each other right at closing time, at last call. I think the Waterfall probably closed around midnight, right? So they all had to leave relatively the same time. So if Brian Albert left at the same time as Jen McCabe, then and Karen Reed, they would all get back to the house at the same time. So how could Brian Albert see Colin Albert, but no one else? They would have us believe, because Brian Albert did see Colin Albert. He said that. So they would have us believe that Colin Albert's drinking at his uncle's house in a blizzard. And then when the uncle that he admires comes back home, he's like, yeah, time to go to bed. Better get out of here. Better call up Allie McCabe to get me the fuck out of here. Okay. Sure thing. So they indicated that several people, okay, from the group, whatever. This would indicate that Brian was there at the same time that Colin was, which he admitted during the grand jury testimony. But they've been pushing this Colin wasn't in the house thing hard. And so now they're adding a new sentence to this. The pink is new. This was not in the original one. Both indicated in their sworn testimony before the grand jury in this matter that their nephew Colin, while present at the home upon their arrival, had left their home well before any of the guests' arrival home from the waterfall. Again, they all got there around the same time. So how could Colin leave before the rest of them got there? So he left. He sees Brian. He's like, that's it. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Okay. Several other witnesses called before the grand jury similarly confirmed this. Oh, okay, sure thing. Neither heard nor saw anything outside their home over the course of the morning. Yeah, somehow they didn't hear a guy getting hit by a car. It's so weird. So weird. And how about this? I picked up this statement. Like, I'm looking through old docs here. Look at this doc. This is an interview of Jen McCabe. Jen texted John at 12:21 saying, here. She texted John again at 12:31 and told him to pull behind her vehicle. She looked out a window a little while later and noticed that the car was further away from the house, closer to the neighbor. At 12:40, she texted John again and said, hello. Where are you? There's no response. She said that her phone shows a call from her phone to John around that time. Remember, she called him and he picked up the phone. But she thinks that she dialed him by accident when she was putting her phone back in her pants pocket. Oh my God. The next time that she looked out the window, but wouldn't that leave a voicemail? Okay, but anyway, the next time she looked out the window after 12:40, the car was gone. So she left at 12:40 something. Then why did she arrive home at 12:41? That makes no sense. Okay, sure thing, Jen. She did not think anything of it and thought that they had just decided not to come in. Then why did she call him 6 times between 12:40 and 12:50? Jen said that she and her husband were at the house from around 11:45 a.m. I think they meant to put p.m. to about 1:30. So now she got there at 11:45. Okay. And she said that she drove 2 of her nephew's friends home. This report is from February 4th. This is when they were hiding the name Sarah Levinson from us. Her name didn't come up until 9 months later. It was unknown to the defense who the fuck Sarah Levinson was. They were covering her up. We know Jen didn't get there at 11:45 because she later stated that she got there at 12:18. I also noticed in the police report that Nicole Albert said that she left the Waterfall Bar at midnight and everyone had left by 1. But Jen did not leave till 1:47. These people just lie about the times constantly. And again, the dark object comment from Julie Nagel. That's why I say fuck Julie Nagel. But by far the most shocking and egregious new addition was, this dude, this was brisk. This was a bold move on their part, wasn't it? Again, our biggest issue here was that the charging documents say that Proctor arrived at 4:30 in Dighton. We have disproven that. We have disproven that by doing public records requests to the Dighton Police Department and finding out who got this. Upon their arrival, they observed, and so they get there and they take the car, okay? But the alarm.com footage shows it being towed at 4:12 before Proctor says he got there. So that's a lie. But Adam Lally defended this lie because he made this ridiculous statement in court about daylight savings. Well, they didn't reset. It didn't reset for daylight savings. So it was actually 5:12, even though clearly the sun had not set yet in that picture. But it really was 5:12, and which aligns with the time of 5:30. It's 5:12, 5:30. What's called 5:30. So there's nothing. Trooper Proctor did not lie. So he doubled down on the 4:30 thing. Except now that we've put out our blog showing that the scene was cleared at 4:17, you can't say that. The daylight savings thing out the window. It's gone. So now they need a new lie. So what are they going to do? Well, they're just going to change the time. They actually did this at approximately 3:30 p.m. Again, charging documents at approximately 4:30 p.m. Trooper Proctor arrives in Dighton. New documents at 3:30 p.m. Proctor arrives. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? They just did that. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, because they got the guns. So you can do nothing. They're just going to lie to you. They're just going to, this is a fucking murder case. It's like a murder case of a police officer. And they're just like, fuck you. We're going to change this right in front of you. We know you're all going to see it. We know Turtleboy's going to pick this up and blast it loud and crack. And we don't give a fuck because we got the guns. So what are you going to do about it? They don't care. But they kind of do. To me, this is a tell. The 3:30 thing, it's a tell. They're not doing this because they want to win the case. They know how horrible this is. They know Alan Jackson's going to see this, and David Unetti's going to see this, and Karen Reed's going to see this. and I'm going to see this. So they know that they're not going to get away with this. So why are they doing this? They're doing this because they know the feds are watching. They know the feds are watching and that they are the target. So they need to change the time to go to protect Michael Proctor. That's what this is. They are changing the time. And I don't know what's their excuse going to be. He wrote the wrong time, 4:30. Not only did he write the wrong time, we then justified that time by making up a lie about daylight savings. We were so committed to that 4:30 time that we came up with this whole daylight savings thing. Except it appears in more than just one report. They've done it dozens of times. They've said the 4:30 thing. So good luck with that. I mean, they are literally that everything you're seeing right now, you have to understand. Michael Morrissey right now, with that video that you saw last week, that is a man shitting his pants. That is a man who knows that his whole prestigious 45-year career as a government hack is ending in the most spectacular way with him in handcuffs. And he is literally, he's like a dying fish in water. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. And they are desperately trying to make it seem like this is on the up and up. They are in full panic mode. They are no longer concerned at all about Karen Reed. They have no intentions whatsoever of convicting her, but they can't drop the charges because that would be an admittance that, yeah, they fucked this up. Michael Proctor fucked. If I were them, personally, if I were Morrissey, and Morrissey, if you listen to this, you got a way out of this, dude. You just blame it all on Proctor. You just be like, well, we're going to drop the charges because clearly this fucking rogue piece of shit detective I trusted is a bold-faced liar. We can't trust this motherfucker. Just blame it all on Proctor. It's really simple. But he wants to go down with the ship, then go down with the ship with him. Maybe you guys can be roomies. And fuck Lizzie Proctor too. She can burn, like, the things that woman has done to try to silence our speech with this. She is actively involved in covering this up. Both her and Michael should be in jail. And and tell you what, Lizzie, those two boys you have, daddy's got to go to prison. I'll teach him how to throw a football. Okay. We'll play catch in the backyard. Because I feel bad. All boys should have like a male figure in their life. Daddy's gone. I'm not going to bang you. We're not going to be a couple because I think you're an evil cunt, but I feel bad for your kids. And I feel like they should have a male, like a real man in their life that can teach them manly shit. And I'll be that guy. I'll teach your kids how to throw a curveball, do all the shit that dads are supposed to do. I'll take care of all that stuff. I'll even let them pick their own gender, just like with Janetti's kid. Okay? They're my kids now. And that is my promise to you, Lizzie Proctor, because your children, I would just want you to let you know this, Lizzie Proctor, when you're watching this, like your worst fear is going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing, Lizzie, you can do about this. Your two boys are going to grow up without a father. I want you to let that sink in. I want you to really think about that. Because I don't think you've ever really truly thought about that. You think you're going to get away with this. It's over. It's over. The district attorney is in full panic mode. Michael Proctor is going to jail for a long time. Your children will not see him. And he's going to federal prison, which is not close by, which is probably safer for him, quite frankly. And because he's a cop, he can't be in Gen Pop. His life is going to suck. You're going to want to divorce him real quick. But your kids are going to grow up without a dad. And I just want you to know that. That is a horrible, sad fucking thing. And you deserve it. You deserve it. Your kids don't deserve it. But you are an evil woman and a horrible excuse for a mother. Just a horrible excuse for a mother. That you did this. That you allowed this to happen. What is wrong with you? Just horrible. Horrible. But anyway, so back to this. Would he take custody of his clothing? I don't know, but I'm going to take custody of his kids. So there's that. That's my promise. And they get to pick their own gender, just like Genetti's kid. Anyway, so back to these documents here. The Commonwealth is also trying to prove that this deleted bullshit camera stuff, whatever. Okay. They're really pushing that angle. So there's that. There's a couple more motions. Let's check out real quick. Actually, let me see the donos. We got any donos here? Got a couple turtle chats to read first. Let me read some turtle chats. First one up is from Mike Meat Sweats. He says, Turtle Boy, get in my belly. Thanks for all you do. Thanks, Mikey Meat Sweats. Thank you. Richie O sends 25 and says, Karen was tried by a grand jury. Not tried. That's not the word. Who heard the original police reports and evidence and came to a decision of indicting her based on that evidence. How can any changes be made to these reports? That's a great fucking question. That is a great question. Like she would, like all of these reports were presented to a grand jury as a way to indict her. And now they're just changing them. That's a great fucking question. Because because grand jurors are allowed to ask questions. If you show these documents to the grand jury, they got some questions. Now they're changing. Wouldn't a grand jury be like, why are you changing your story? It's a great question. Awesome question. And then he says, those reports were made, signed, and passed into supervisors and then became evidence. What am I missing here? You're not, you know what you're missing, Richie? They got more guns than you. That's what you're missing. You're not missing anything. You got it. You figured it out. But you can't do anything about it because they got guns. So what are you going to do about it? You going to start a revolution? You know, you're going to go full, like, are we doing militia here? And eventually, I hope they realize how dangerous this is. Because if they, you know, do this shit to Kearney, whatever, like, you know, I ain't dying over, like, you know what I mean? Where I'm not going to get my guns and starting a John Brown. I can't do that. But like eventually you're going to, like, if you do this to enough people, they're going to be like, fuck this government. This government is tyrannical and illegitimate. And the founding fathers said you have to take up arms against illegitimate governments. That is what you're doing. I hope you realize how dangerous this is, what you're doing. Like, this is so fucking dangerous to fuck with the public like this. Like, oh. But they showed us during COVID, right? That like they can do anything to us and we'll just kind of take it. Like, I think COVID was like a big experiment to see what the government could get away with. And the answer to that was anything they fucking want to. Anything. And you ain't gonna do shit. Because there's plenty of people out there that will take it. They're like, yes, mask me up. Govern me harder. Yeah, jab me. Yeah, make me get it. I love it. I love complying. And that's why you have, because there's plenty of Cofindaffers out there, period. Anyway, back to this. So that's a great question. Next one is from Mickey sends 10 and says, you rock, doctor. Is it true that Brian is actually retiring this week? And again, this is a rumor that I've seen in the groups and stuff like that. And that's fine. I'm all for conversation. I'm not printing that. Where's the evidence? Where's this coming from? I don't publish things that I can't prove. I've seen no evidence that Brian retired this week. None. It would make sense if he did, but let me see the evidence. Next, Annette sends 10 and says, everyone keeps saying they got into a fight so fast. How is that possible? I think since the chief says that John called in about selling drugs. Oh, we're doing this again. That's obviously about Colin. So I think they saw John at the bar and they said, let's invite him and start with him and question him about the call he made. I think it was planned, and that's okay. I'm stopping right there. Okay. This, like, I appreciate the dono, the $10, not doing this. Okay. Like, every day I get like, oh, like this, people will send me a fucking paragraph about their theory about this. And I'm like, no, you have no evidence to back up any of that. None. So I'm not fucking humoring it. Like, zero. Like, enough with the speculation, enough with the theories. Stick with fucking what happens. Like, it's really not that, it's not that fucking complicated. Enough with the drug shit. John was not killed over fucking drugs. Okay? Because Colin Albert sold pot on his street. Like, stop it. That's fucking stupid. Do you realize how fucking stupid that sounds? They're like, oh, we got to kill this fucking guy. He called the cops on us because I'm selling fucking. Like, how much weight do you think Colin Albert is goddamn? Who's like, I don't know. The Mexican guy. Who am I? Pablo Escobar. No, the Colombian. You think he's Pablo fucking Escobar? Colin Albert? Dude, they sell pizza in Canton. They sell pizza in fucking Canton. Never forget that. They sell pizza in Canton. They're not fucking drug lords. Stop it. They're not going to kill some fucking guy. Like, drug lords kill, like, people that do serious shit. They move serious weight. Colin Albert's not moving serious weight. They're not killing John over fucking drugs. He's not Heisenberg. Stop it. You realize how fucking stupid you sound. Every time I hear the fucking drug angle on this, I'm just like, I stop listening. I stop fucking listening because you sound crazy. Stop it with the stupid drug angle. You have no proof of it. You have no fucking evidence. And it sounds stupid. It makes no fucking sense. But you know what does make sense? John walked in that house. Him and Colin have a history together. They don't like each other. They get mouthy. They get in a fight. It goes too far, and they accidentally kill him. It's that fucking simple. It's not that fucking complicated. Stick to what works. Jesus fucking Christ. But thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. Next. Samantha sends $25. Says, the reason Jen was calling his phone was so they could find it. It probably was in his hand when he went to the basement. He was probably texting Karen to come in. It was misplaced during again, I appreciate the dono. Not doing like, it's like, okay, what doesn't matter. Appreciate it. $25 from Auburn says War Damn Eagle. Did they play today? They always play shitty teams at the beginning of the season. Doesn't Auburn suck now? I like Auburn, but it says hashtag free Karen Reed. So thank you there. Auburn. Another turtle chat is from Samantha. Says she called 6 times to find the phone. He probably was about to text Karen to come in when the fight started. And when the broke out, his phone was misplaced. So she had to call to locate it. Probably was on silence. Everybody had to be quiet to hear it vibrate. Also, okay, I appreciate this. It's just, I stick to facts. I don't do speculation. I appreciate the donut. So thank you very much. Yeah, go Irish. We do have a quarterback now. Go Irish. A couple cash apps here I got to read out. Alex sends $10 and says, for all you cucks on court, those cucks on court TV about injuries, ? Yeah, fuck you cucks. Melissa sends $10 and says, for thank you for all that you do. My pleasure, Melissa. Alex sends another 15 and says, I love you, doctor, doing God's work daily. Hashtag journalism Jesus. We have shirts coming out for those, by the way. We have shirts. I don't know if they're in the store yet, but they're freaking awesome. The Journo Jesus shirts. Alice sends $15 and says, Yellow Cottage Shield says, Lucky isn't a reliable witness. Did he actually say that? Because I think I heard him talking about, like, maybe you didn't see the road. What do you think about the PI's report? Like, Lucky could not have been more affirmative about what he saw. He's going to be the best witness, actually, like, as good as it gets. Okay. So there's that. And then right on cue, I get a message saying, here's a rumor. Like, I'm like ranting against rumors. Okay. Whatever. And then, one more cash app here from Brendan. Let's see. He says, sends $25. He says, keep it up. Great work. Well, thank you, Brendan. I appreciate that. Thank you for not sending me your conspiracy theory. I appreciate that. So, all right. So there's a couple more motions I just want to hit on here. Again, they are now saying that they found taillight inside John's goddamn shirt. Like, that's serious. Like, they actually are saying that. I think it's in the motion to compel evidence. So check this out. Look at this. Let me pull this up. And Cofindaffer, of course, had this like within 5 seconds, like somehow in hundreds of pages of documents. She immediately has this as soon as it comes out. Okay, sure thing. So, okay. A Norfolk grand jury, blah, blah, blah. The Commonwealth does not require compulsion to fulfill its discovery obligations. The Commonwealth has complied and will continue to comply with the providing the defendant all mandatory discovery. What about his arm tissue samples? What about his clothing? They've been asking for that forever. And so they showed, like, this is all the evidence we've given them. Okay, cool. Well, how about this? As demonstrated, the Commonwealth has complied with its discovery obligations and will continue to do so. Further, any exculpatory information known to the Commonwealth will be disclosed to the defendant. Liars. The defendant filed a renewed motion to compel discovery and access to evidence. Within that motion, the defense listed 8 enumerated requests. With reference to items 1, 2, and 3 in the defense motion, ability to inspect all taillight pieces, ability to inspect the actual items of John's clothing, and samples of John's clothing and person. These items are within the custody of the State Police Crime Lab. Pursuant to their policies and protocols, no evidence will be released and thus available for any independent investigation, analysis for swab for testing by the defendant or her representatives until the entire labs has been completed. So they just said, yeah, we gave them everything they wanted, but you can't get this. Oh, okay. Okay. The lab does not permit any expert of the defendant's choosing to be present for certain exhaustive testing, as has been accomplished twice in this defendant's case. Furthermore, an item's evidentiary value need for further testing may not be apparent until a forensic link is either made or not made in some further subsequent testing. There may need to go back and conduct further comparative testing on items, which testing we believe to have been concluded based on subsequent, I'm pronouncing that wrong, subsequent testing results. Item 3.1, the passenger side of the taillight of the defense vehicle in conjunction with these items. So all these items, 7, 5, 7, 6, these are all taillight evidence that the defense asked for to inspect. And then they write this little piece here. Pieces of red and clear plastic, pieces of glass, and a black straw. This is a straw now, recovered from Fairview Road, were the subject of a physical match analysis by the Tracy Unit Lab. This report was completed in May of 2023. Respectively, debris from John O'Keefe's clothing. So another trace analysis was performed in reference to items 718, so these are taillight evidence, respectively, debris from John O'Keefe's clothing. From this analysis, microscopic pieces of red and clear apparent plastic were found on John's clothing. So you can't see it yet, but they still won't let him look at it. This is what they're saying with a straight face, that we found microscopic pieces of taillight embedded on John's undershirt. Because I looked up what that was. It's his undershirt, not his outer. How the fuck did it get in his undershirt? Like, and they've had this stuff for a year and a half. Oh, but they wouldn't plant it, guys. It's like nobody believes you. Nobody believes that there's fucking taillight on there. Sure, there. Oh yeah, definitely. It's a miracle. Yeah, they found more taillight. Oh yeah. A lot of people believe that. Sure, you guys have a lot of credibility. Oh, DNA testing has been completed by the State Police Lab. It says, and turned over to the defendant's counsel. That testing has required exhaustive testing, of which the Commonwealth had notified counsel for the defendant. Counsel for the defendant did not identify their expert they wished to be present for said testing until May 2023. Okay, this is just more mumbo jumbo bullshit. Given this delay, yeah, it's the Commonwealth's fault. Shit hasn't gotten done. I mean, it's the defense's fault that shit hasn't got done. What about the What about the EDR that you said you had some? Didn't they have a big bombshell? Remember the big bombshell about the EDR? The black box was going to prove it. Yeah, what was in that? What was the bombshell? I thought you said that it proved that she hit him. Where is it? Nope. They haven't even let the defense look at that yet. Okay. How about this? The telematics system and the infotainment system of the vehicle were removed from the subject vehicle pursuant to a valid search warrants. Limited, if any, information has been capable of being extracted from either device at this point. What has been able to be recovered has been provided to counsel for the defendant. The software or modules to recover what, if any, information or any programs that can parse that data simply does not exist at this time. Oh, okay. The Commonwealth is awaiting any update in the software, which would be provided to Burla by the manufacturer, in this case, Toyota Lexus. The Commonwealth, at the repeated and continuously ongoing requests, does not have a definitive period for which that will be available. I mean, this is just classic Lally. You could just picture him reading this in court. Just going on and on about bullshit that means nothing. Designed to just bore you to death. And that says fucking nothing. Basically, we haven't done shit. And we're not giving you shit. Excuses after excuses after excuses. So, reports regarding swabs taken in connection with his clothing submitted to the UC Davis lab to determine whether animal DNA is present. Okay, do you got those? All reports, notes, photographs regarding this issue were provided to counsel for the defendant previously. All responsive material was further sent to counsel for the defendant upon the request. So did you find animal DNA in it or not? You tell me. Wouldn't you be like, hey, there's no animal DNA. They're full of shit. Okay. And, Cup, check this out too. You know what else I noticed in the docket? We're almost done. We got a long show here. It's like, okay, can I read? I'm just going to read this. A message I'm getting during the show. I don't know if this person's watching the show, but this is exactly the kind of tip. Please don't waste my time with this. Let me just read this to you. 2 rumors that are running around Canton that you should know. Stop right there. Not interested. Don't care. I can't publish it. Don't like. They're purely rumor, so take from that what you will. Yes, I'm going to not listen to it at all. I have no proof, but I wanted you to know what people are talking about in case you hear anything that corroborates that. D&E was basically a drive-through for Coke in the 90s. We're really fucking doing this? We're talking about the 90s and D&E and Coke. We're really fucking doing this. A mom of someone in the house that night told a friend, so a mom, why can't you tell me the fucking mom? Why are you wasting my fucking time with this? If you're not man enough to tell me the name of the fucking mom, then what the fuck are you telling me for? What the fuck am I supposed to do with this information? Seriously. Have you ever read my blog? Do I ever be like, a mom of someone in the house? Imagine me writing that in a report. A mom of someone in the house that night told a friend. So this is like a third-hand story. A mom told a friend. A mom of someone in the house that night told a friend that her daughter saw John in the house puking and convulsing. But she will take it to the grave because they're scared of the Alberts. That is the most useless fucking message I've ever gotten in my life. Never message me again with bullshit like that, please. Ever. Oh, so somebody you're not going to fucking tell me the name of has some fucking story about it. Somebody watching a body convulse and they're taking it to the grave. I have never gotten a more useless tip than that. but I get them all the time. I get them every fucking day. I swear to God, some people just want to feel special. They want to feel involved. Like, oh, I'm sending a tip. No, you're not. You're wasting my fucking time. Stop it. Anyway, here's a Cash App. I got. This is not a waste of time. I thought I got one. Okay, we got Pina Rosa says for the Morris sends 5 and says for the Morrissey new pants fund. Yes, he does need some new pants and a bigger belt. $30 from Katie. It says for a good rant from Unk tonight. You just got it. Much love always. Thank you, Katie. And Alex again says $5 for the Bridgewater Shuffle. Bridgewater Shuffle. Oh, got another one here from Erica, sends $50 and says, because the more they try to make us quiet, the more we will get louder. Did Thomas reach out to you about our fundraising idea? Who's Thomas? I don't know. Okay. So I want to send here, I want to show you guys something I noticed because I checked the SJC dockets as well. The Supreme Judicial Court. And you know why I was thinking about Paul O'Keefe can't register his own name on this registration? Because he almost killed someone. Does he even have a license? I don't even know. He really shouldn't. All right. Let me pull this up here. Something I found here. Give me 1 sec. So this is the appeals court, the Supreme Judicial Court. I noticed something involving the Canton case in the Supreme Judicial Court. Actually, or is this the one? I'll bring up that one in a sec. This is the first one. Here it is. Okay. The Mass Appellate Court's public case search. And this is in Suffolk County case docket. So Karen Reed versus the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This case contains impounded material. And so this is a discovery dispute. Oh, with Judge Canoni. So they're appealing Judge Canoni. So they're appealing. Obviously, the defense has taken a lot of L's with Judge Canoni. Hasn't worked out very well. She's ruled against them time and time again. What do you guys think they're appealing? Because it doesn't say here. What in your educated opinion, guys, what do you think that they are appealing here? What do you guys think they're appealing here? So the case entered. This is yesterday. They appealed something. Defendant's petition and brief seeking relief pursuit. What do you guys think? That's what I think too. Yeah, everyone is saying that, right? Doesn't that make the most sense? Like, the defense, appealed something to the Supreme Court, that had been a Canoni denial. We know that. It doesn't say what it is, but wouldn't that make the sense? Like they've been denied that a couple, and that's outrageous that they denied that with the Rule 17 motion, because that's not a fishing expedition. Brian, there's good reason to believe. So Judge Canoni denied that. If they get a hold of Brian Albert's phone, it's really game over. Because there's a reason Brian Albert does not want that phone being handed over. There is a reason, man. And I got bad news for them. Like, first of all, the fact that this is going to the Supreme Judicial Court now, this is serious. And that means that they are going to have to give Greg Henning a shitload of money to fucking defend, like, to try to stop this from happening. Because this is everything. They cannot let the defense get that phone. So they're going to have to put up a spirited fight to make sure that they lose this one. We're assuming that that's what this is about, and I think that's a very good guess. Because what else would they be appealing? They said they weren't going to appeal her denial of the motion to recuse. They didn't really give a shit. But, you know, we'll see. I think that there's definitely some... yes, and we're going to talk about that one second. No, actually something different. So, yeah, I mean, if the Supreme Judicial Court is not Norfolk District Court or Norfolk Superior Court, they're not going to protect them. And I think they're going to rule in the defense's favor on that. Oh, that's a huge, huge one. That's what she said. Oh, okay. Last thing here. Check this out. They are asking for, they're going after NBC too and ABC. So this is another motion that the Commonwealth filed. Now comes the Commonwealth. They're asking NBC, okay, the keeper of records of NBC Universal, to produce the criminal clerk's Office of Norfolk Superior Court certified. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Why are they doing this? Because of the Dateline thing. So they want so Karen Reed did what? A 10-minute segment with NBC and ABC with Dateline and with Matt Gutman. And now what do they want? They want all of it. So the NBC Universal program today aired a 2-minute and 30-second preview of the Dateline episode of Taillight Murder. A defendant's statement is not hearsay and is admissible against the defendant when the statement was made or adopted by the defendant. The hearsay, okay. It's in Massachusetts law, it is well settled that a news reporter does not have a constitutionally based testimonial privilege that other citizens do not have. Pretty sure they do. Unlike federal law, in Massachusetts, there's no qualified journalist privilege that protects against disclosure of confidential and non-confidential press materials. Actually, there is. I know this because I've been sued for stuff like this, and they've tried to get my sources and they've lost. So whatever he's citing here is wrong. It has been overruled by some other Supreme Court decision. And so what are they getting at here? Let's see. All recorded statements of the defendant were voluntarily provided to Dateline. Okay. It aired on July 24th, but only a small segment, which also featured courtroom footage and blah, 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 blah. The defendant's statements, which aired, were not one consistent soliloquy, rather edited portions of responses to questions posed by the correspondent, Dennis Murphy. It is reasonable inference made in good faith that based on the approximate 1 minute of recorded statements that did air, there are additional statements of the defendants that were made during the course of the interview. Ah, he caught on to that. They figured that out. And a full story will be upcoming. Pursuant to their terms of service, which encompasses and governs both Today and Dateline, any content, including but not limited to software, images, videos, texts, and audio provided by NBC Universal, is owned by NBC Universal. Video of the defendant's statements is material and relevant to the defendant's involvement and inculpability for the murder of John O'Keefe. The defendant voluntarily gave this interview knowing that under Massachusetts rules of evidence, any statement would be made admissible in the Commonwealth's case against her. The entirety, all raw, edited, aired, or unaired footage of Karen Reed would be relevant, whereas a statement is not limited to oral assertions. These statements would be captured through the defense. Do you guys see what they're asking for here? They are asking for the entire recorded. The Commonwealth's request is for all video footage of Karen Reid's statements, including raw video footage that was not aired. So they talk about arrogant. First of all, Karen Reid's attorneys won't even have to touch this. They won't even have to respond to this because this is not their fight. This, and by the way, Rule 17 motions do not apply to NBC and ABC because Rule 17 is a Massachusetts rule. NBC and ABC are not headquartered in Massachusetts. What was the address they put on this? Oh, it's New York. So it's New York. So that's a different state. There's no Rule 17 in New York State. So, oops, that was a mistake. And secondly, I love that they're doing this. NBC and ABC's attorneys are going they're gonna be like, who is this little bitch with the hair gel? They're going to tell you to fuck off. Like they're gonna like these are multi-billion-dollar corporations with unlimited money for attorneys. And little Adam Lally from Norfolk County is being like, I want the whole fucking thing. No, dipshit. That is their intellectual property. And they have not aired it for a reason. You don't get to see it first. You can see it when the show comes out. The idea that they have to, I mean, this is so laughable. Like, do you understand what's going to happen? Like, how quickly this is going to go? This is embarrassing. Embarrassing. They did the same thing with ABC. We want the whole Matt Gutman interview because there's only 10 minutes. Oh, you figured it out. There was more than that. They thought they could fool Adam Lally and Michael Morrissey, but there's actually more. I mean, this is a fucking clown show. Oh, the stupidest people. Anyway, so that's about it. Let me check the donos here. A couple more donos here. First one's from Mike. Sends $10 and says, why was Michael Morrissey's office in Canton? Well, that's just where the DA's office is located. Canton's kind of like right in the middle of Norfolk County. Like Canton and Norwood are right in the middle. So that is where they put it. Appreciate that question. Next dono here is from QCuz says, here's $20 for you to please stop bitching about useless tips. Okay, fine. I'll stop bitching about you. You guys didn't like that rant? It's just like, I can't, sometimes I got to let it out, man. I appreciate the $20, but I'm still going to bitch about it. I appreciate that. What else? Let me check the Cash App real quick. Hold on one sec. All right. Let's see, Cash App, because I think I got a couple of those. Wildflower sends $10 and says, for read the blog, don't be the blog. I'm sorry. I was so fired up about that fucking group earlier. Like, I'm just done. Like, dude. Oh, I hate them. I hate these people that ruin a good thing. It's just like, don't. When I tell you to do something, it's for a fucking reason. I'm not like, I don't want to be your daddy, but I kind of have to be. Kind of have to be daddy. The court motions are all on masscourts.org. So anyone can go and read those. Shit's got to your head, bro. Ooh, has it? I don't think it has, but anyone else have any questions? Anything they want to ask me? Oh, I'm glad you like the rant. Oh yeah, me and Sean are very cool. I talked to Sean today because we had a discussion about it. Like he didn't know what was going on. He missed the whole thing. A lot of people slept through it, and he wants to get rid of. I mean, I think he wants to get. He says they can't get rid of Blanca because she created the group, and I'm like, it's just time to blow the group up. You know, we'll just make a new group. We already have a group that has 11,000 people are in the new group, something like that. Like we did that in 24 hours. It'll be at 25,000 by very soon. No biggie. No biggie. Hold on. Why isn't my fucking face won't work? All right. Any other questions? Why is Jen always wearing a hat? Good question. Rule 17 is the rule about handing over devices and stuff, like things that I forget the exact. What is? Let me see the exact Rule 17 message. Rule. I don't want to give you this. I'm wrong. Rule 17 Massachusetts is a summons requiring the attendance of a witness at a hearing or a trial may be served anywhere in the Commonwealth. Outside the Commonwealth, a summons directed to a witness or counsel. What? Basically, it's to get. Oh, it's like a non-involved party, I think, and involving them in it. So, like, the Rule 17 was for Brian Albert's cell phone. That was a Rule 17 hearing because he was a non-involved. He's not on trial, so they're trying to get his phone. And so this would be a Rule 17 motion for NBC's documents. They're a non-involved party. But Rule 17, Brian Albert lives in Massachusetts, so Rule 17 applies to him. Make sense? Good question. Do you think they'll protect Proctor to keep the integrity of his other case? Well, they're not going to have a choice. So it's not another Genduso. I mean, I think that's why we're here right now, is they don't want to turn him into Genduso. Although, things are going well for her, I'm sure. But it's much worse than Genduso. I mean, Genduso lied about, selling pot 10 years ago. And quite frankly, they knew about that and looked the other way. It was their fault, not just hers. She took the fall for it because they were happy. It is interesting how willing they were to throw her under the bus, but not Proctor, because Proctor is a lot more valuable to the state police. He's done a lot more consequential work. Like the Brian Walsh thing, I do think it has a lot to do with it. Where did Clarence Woods Emerson come from? It's just, I wanted to come up with a really waspy sounding name. I just came up with it one day. I don't have a Kylie Kirkpatrick. I haven't heard from the Napa DA. I assume they're just delaying it. No, I don't think Michael Proctor was at the after party. I do not. Again, you feel free country, free speech, rant all you want with the theories. Please don't send your theories to me. People do this all the time. They send me their theories. I don't care. Okay, good for you. You have a theory. So does everyone else. Oh, no, totally. Me and Sean are great. I love Sean on the Gulf. Think he's a great guy. He's taught me, I think, his most valuable contribution, I think, has been just when he came on and he talked to me about how a crime scene should be. Like, I learned a lot from him when he came on, and he talked about how everything that they did wrong in processing the crime scene. And I thought that was very interesting. So, big fan of Sean. I'm still a very big fan of Sean on the Gulf. He's just, and if he wants to keep doing that page, that's his choice. It's a free country. I would recommend, I think it's for the greater good of not me, but for the Karen Reed Defense Fund, if it's all centralized in one spot, and that woman cannot have any control. At any moment, she can just make herself admin, or she already is an admin. She can just blow it up whenever she wants. So don't think that's a good idea. Does it matter if she was filmed in mass? If these companies are big, I don't think that matters. Remember how arrogantly she walked past you? Yeah, it was a fake smile. I mean, I saw right through it. She puts on a good front. Like, she did the same at the Billerica lacrosse game. But then let's not forget, she also ran to court and tried to get an order on me. So that was the real Jen. Useless tips lead to speculation. Speculating and questioning ideas leads. I mean, I guess it hasn't worked out that I have from my past experience, it has not worked out that way. Will Karen have to sue any and everything she has to pay for her car? I don't understand the question. Did you see my tweet thoroughly debunking? I didn't see. But I'll check it out later. If the feds don't pursue the murder, then what will actually happen? Will Colin, Jen, and Brian ever see the wall? No, they're going to, they're going to pursue. They're going to pursue it. So they're not going to let this go. They're fucked. What do you see happening on the 15th in court? Well, based on these motions, fireworks, was knowing that Auntie Bev is still in charge, even though she's not the judge in this courtroom, O'Shea is. I believe that, I mean, based on her past record, not much, but it's really important that this all gets heard. I'm anticipating that they still haven't made a statement about the Morrissey speech. I mean, their silence about that is bizarre. And so I'm anticipating something. Do you think neighbor Tom Kelleher is in the... He should be. They all should be. We need more shirts. Yeah, he's a local moron. You're a turtle rider. Guess what? Shut the fuck up. We need one of those. Loser. Just with her face on it, the wrinkly face. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I mean, that's what the group's for. The groups are great for your theories. Put them in the groups. Put them in the groups, and then y'all can speculate together. It's a free country. I highly encourage you guys to speculate. I don't do the speculation. Yeah, Sean's invited on the show whenever he wants. Can't you get him to stop blogging about me? That's a great one. How can she be forced to pay for a car when they still have it? I mean, how can they do it? Because they have the guns. They have the guns. 60-40 raffles go to Karen's Venmo to help her pay for life, mortgage. Yeah, keep that in mind. I mean, she has to pay her mortgage every month and her bills and shit. Like, so that's where all this raised money is going towards. It's great. Oh, thank you. Welcome, V. Louise. Arthur is new to the channel. Welcome, V. Louise. Glad to have you along for the ride. And we're right in the middle of the ride, too. Let me tell you, we got a long way to go here. Was Cofindaffer accurate when she says where John's body was found? It didn't look like 12 feet from the road. The report says it was 12 feet from the road. That's what the report says. I don't care what she says it looks like. Has she been to Fairview Road 34? I've been there. Like, where does she even live? She doesn't know that the Massachusetts State Police have take-home vehicles that are four-wheel drive. That says everything that she doesn't know about Massachusetts. The court TV panel clowning on Morrissey was epic. That really was. I meant to do a blog on that. What was the bakery in Worcester selling the Karen Reed cakes and stuff? It's Taste Great Cakes. It's right next to the Cosmo Bar, the Cosmopolitan on Hamilton Street. Or I actually went last week. I went to Rosalina's and got dinner last Friday. Dougal hasn't been quiet. Dougal's telling you, he's using aliases on Twitter. He's one of those clowns. No way he's not one of them. Exactly. Award-winning journalists do not speculate. You're right. Please get in touch with the DUI guy. Who's that? I make some calls. It's a little late. It's like I've thought about this too. Like with the police, it's like, you know what? It's really going to piss me off when this is all over on like proctors and handcuffs and shit. There's going to be some bullshit statement from like every police department being like, we condemn this. We are good job by the federals for doing this. They give a bad name to cops everywhere. Yeah, it's easy to say that after they're arrested. Wow. You see it all going on right now. I don't hear a fucking word from a single department. No one says a fucking word. Gutless. Gutless. John O'Keefe put ankle bracelets on sex offenders. I mean, that's basically, he dealt with people like that. I think he dealt with a lot of sex offenders. I don't know the whole thing, but you should sue Wendy for slander and libel, disseminating you are a paid hack. It's a lot of work. And what are my damages? Like as somebody who's been sued for defamation several times before and won every time, I understand the defamation bar is very hard to climb. It's also long. I would get so bored with it. Like that, these lawsuits go on for so long. And then you're like, oh, I'm still dealing with this. Can we just move on? Like, oh, we're still dealing with this thing. Oh, yikes. I would be bored with it. And like, you need damages. And like, what are my damages? How did she damage me? Yeah, she lied. Sure. But at this point, I'd be considered a public figure, like undoubtedly. So like the bar gets extremely high because you got to prove malice when that happens. So it's just like, yeah, I guess I could, but you also, it's like Krusty Panties has said so many lies about me, easily provable lies that I can prove with malice that she knows they're not true, but she's got no money. You can't sue fucking poor people. It's a waste of your time suing poor people. Like she owns she certainly doesn't own a house. So she has no assets. Did you see what she drives to court? Like how beat up is that Corolla? I'm glad you like the 2A speech, but it's true. Are there any street lights? I'm not sure. Good question. That's right. He was buried. John is buried. Who's on the title of John's vehicle? He is. My husband's family owns the cause. Oh, how about that? It was the first time I've ever been there. It's a Worcester classic. The Cosmopolitan. I didn't see Jamie there, Jamie Schramm. I'm always told that you can't go to bars in Worcester. You're going to get your ass kicked. People like me in Worcester too, so there's that. What if Karen and all of them were in on it and they flipped the switch? Okay. DUI guy is the attorney who started covering Karen's case. He needs your rundown. He has a large audience in the law tube community. Does he know about me? Like it just flood. Anytime you see a big influencer like that, flood the comments with turtles. We need to get this on everything. Exactly. She didn't do it. They say you're getting, they're deforming all you. Yeah, you're all getting paid. Yeah, somehow. Yeah, you're all getting paid. Because they got nothing, They're just liars. All right. Getting late for this rider. Yeah, she does have no credit, but okay. So, you know what? Well, thank you, Rusty. Ratchets are glad for the moment he's busy. I know they are. The Ratchets are the biggest winners in all this. So All right. Anyway, guys. Oh, he said that I'm the best guy. Great. I'm gonna have to look this guy up. But all right, guys. Anyway, we will see you guys for. It's getting late. Great show. Did I miss any turtle chats here? I don't want to miss any. Disrespect anyone. Disrespect. Oh, a couple more just to read off here before we call it a night. K-Mac sends $50 and he says $50 to rant louder for the people in the back to shut it with the story time and the donos. Yeah, maybe we have to put like a word limit for the donos. I appreciate that. Proctologist sends $10. Says Turtleboy looking at Mike Brown, Boston lieutenant, grew up in Canton, and that is his crew at a hockey tournament in Canton Ice House yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He was telling his asshole friends that you're chasing your tail. He is involved. If you could give me your email, I will talk to you. There's more shit I could tell you. I don't want to use my name. Yeah, turtleboysports@gmail.com. But if you don't have any sort of evidence, please don't waste my time. Jen sends $100. Thank you, Jen. And says, from me and my Sil Edith from Hudson, Mass. Never been so into a true crime frame job, but lived with cops and found them to be human flaws and matter of bumps. Humans. Exactly. They're just humans, right? So, and humans are flawed and is what it is. Cash App. Last couple things here. Paul sends 20 and says, for the Soul Machine Tattoo Studio in Rainham. Check them out. Thank you, Paul. And Paul James says, this is crazy shit and sends 10 big ones. Smackaroo. So, yes, it is, folks. It's very fucking crazy. And we will see you guys all. I love you. Thanks to all the Rumble Rats over there, too. Yeah. And we will see you guys all for the next episode of Turtleboy Live on Tuesday. Peace, Turtle Riders.